In Oxford, Mississippi, they never lose a party, and they never lose a tailgate. Week 2 at the Grove. Lane Kiffin's team plays host to Central Arkansas, and he's got a new quarterback as the competition rages on. Luke Altmyer makes his first start for the Rebels, or as they say, he goes first today in front of Jackson Dart, who started the opener against Troy. You're watching SEC football on ESPN+. The Rebs, fresh off a 28-10 win in the opener, trying to get the offense humming today against the Bears of Central Arkansas. UCA is a proud program, 5 FCS playoff appearances since 2011. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to The Vaught. Drew Carter, Aaron Murray upstairs. We'll check in with Tara Talmadge on the field in just a second. And Aaron, all of a sudden, the SEC West might be wide open.
Oh my! For those who saw earlier today, obviously the Alabama game, craziness. Yeah. The Texas A&M just lost to App State. The West we knew was going to be competitive. Where did Ole Miss fall on that? Well, they may be going inching their way towards the top right now with all this craziness going on. So, been an exciting day of football.
Yeah, the Rebels coming off their first 10-win regular season in program history, but the quarterback, Matt Corral, is gone. We still don't know who the heir apparent to Corral is in this offense. It was Dart last week. It's Altmyer today.
Yeah, Dart, I thought he looked good last week. He's someone that I think with time is going to be very efficient in this offense, but they made a decision. Each quarterback was going to get an opportunity to start a game. Luke's time now. Let's see if he can take advantage. Played in the bowl game last year, a little bit up and a little bit down, but he knows the offense, so I'm looking for efficiency today out of him.
Yeah, that's the important thing to remember, folks. This was the plan all along. It's not like Dart has been benched. They're still trying to figure it out. For more on the QB competition, let's say hi to Tara.
Hey guys, right. That quarterback battle between Jackson Dart and Luke Altmyer has been neck and neck over the past several months. In fact, it was been so close that Lane Kiffin decided to put it to a vote. He had 15 coaches put into a meeting, and they all voted on who should be the starting quarterback. But the vote came out to 8-7, which was just a little too close for Kiffin to call. So that's why he decided to give both guys a shot at a starting role. And I got to say, the rain is starting to come down. Hopefully it doesn't get too messy out here.
All right, Tara, great stuff. Go stay dry. He said, not exactly a direct democracy in the coaching room. I think Lane's vote probably holds a little bit more weight than the rest of the coaching staff, but still, they're trying to figure out who's going to be the quarterback here in 2022. We're going to get a chance to see Luke Altmyer real early as Ole Miss has won the toss and elected to receive. It's only week 2. It's a rainy night. It's an FCS opponent, but it's the Vaught, and it's rocking here in Oxford. Dayton Wade, the wide receiver, back to receive for Ole Miss, and he finds a crease and takes it out to near the 30-yard line. And that is where Luke Altmyer will make his first career start for the Rebs. Really interesting story. He's from Starkville, but he's an Ole Miss legacy. This guy's been a Rebs fan for his entire life. Remember Showboat Boykin back in the 1951 Egg Bowl? 7 touchdowns for Ole Miss. He's related to Luke Altmyer, who's making his first career start today. He played in the Sugar Bowl last year in the loss against Baylor. This is the first time he goes first, and he loads it up on the first play from scrimmage. Jonathan Mingo just mossed somebody. James Jordan on the coverage. Mingo takes it away for 36 yards.
Well, if you're going to go one-on-one with Mingo backside, off coverage or press, they are going to him every single time.
He's their most experienced receiver. Hot start for Altmyer. Now they keep it on the ground with the TCU transfer, Zach Evans, who moves the chains again. Let's go back to that first pass.
Oh, it's raining right now. Who knows if they're going to come out passing or not. And just a great job in concentration, using the defender to reel it in for the big first play to get this thing going.
Who was that back in the day from Alabama? Tyrone Prothro, who did that in the end zone? Whew. Great start for Altmyer and company offensively. That was 14 yards for Evans, who was a preseason All-SEC selection coming over from Fort Worth. 1st and 10, back on the ground with Evans, twisted down near the line of scrimmage by Jalen Bedell.
Well, that was the question with this rain right now. How much are we going to see throwing the football? They are a great running football team. They're going to be one of the best running football teams in the SEC this season, but you got to see what this quarterback can do.
In the red zone, Altmyer on the jet sweep to Jalen Robinson, the UCF transfer who they call Flash. And he is swarmed near the 10-yard line. T.D. Williams in there first.
I mean, how many times did they bring up Robinson yesterday in our coaches' meetings over and over again, talking about he's healthy, he's feeling good, got some of the jitters out last week in his first game. More and more you're going to see him getting the ball in space on jet sweeps in the slot going against safeties.
3rd down and 2. Altmaier gives it. Evans lowers the shoulder and picks up the first down. They love this guy, Zach Evans. So much talent.
Oh, it's a great first game last week for him, coming out there dominant. And then the thing that really jumps out on the tape when you watch is just how smooth and patient of a runner he is in the hole.
Altmaier keeps this time. Open man, touchdown Rebs. Michael Trigg, the tight end from USC, scores his first touchdown in Ole Miss red and blue.
Well, I'm sure Luke came out, man, it's raining. I get my first start and the weather's not perfect. Who cares? Beautifully thrown ball first to Mingo, moves him down the field. Little RPO action, tight end sneak out the back. Fake cut block, easy pitch and catch for the touchdown.
Here's Jonathan Cruz, the transfer from Charlotte. You'll notice that a lot today. We're saying transfer from just about everywhere. Lane's the portal king, and he has rebuilt this roster after last year's 10-win season. Kincaid Dent is the holder, the 3rd-string quarterback. Cruz knocks it through, 7-zip Rebs. How about that for your first drive as the starter for Luke Altmaier?
Nice and easy, beautiful thrown ball. Moving down the field, get the run game going. You see the linebacker, all they have to do is step up for a split second. You know you're going to get your tight end in the flat. And Trigg, the big man, another transfer coming out there, starting off this game with an easy touchdown.
6 plays, 70 yards in under 2 minutes.
We're going to see both quarterbacks today, and the goal is obviously to come out hot versus an opponent like this. Get him in, get him through the first couple quarters, have him start the third, build a pretty commanding lead, and then bring Dart in there afterwards. And if this is the pace right now, Dart may be coming even earlier than that.
Look out. They said they wanted to get Altmaier in earlier than they did in the opener against Troy, but Dart threw an interception, and they didn't want his last throw to be a pick, so they left him in there for a little longer. And then on Altmaier's first drive last week, it was a botched snap on the first play of the drive, so he didn't get to touch it until about midway through the 4th quarter. Coach Kiffin has seen some quarterback battles in his day. Remember when he was at Alabama under Nick Saban in 2015 and 16, there were some tightly contested battles, but he and Charlie Weiss Jr., the offensive coordinator, say this is the closest one they've seen. Cruz kicks it away with a 7-0 lead for Ole Miss. John David White, the UCA receiver, lets it bounce, and the Bears will start at the 25 with their own transfer quarterback, Will McElvain.
Well, Will last week, a little bit happy feet early on, still trying to learn this offense, still trying to trust his offensive line in front of him to be able to sit in the pocket, get his proper depth. That way he doesn't feel the pressure in front of him and feels like he has to get out. He is athletic. He started to get comfortable more and more there in the 3rd and 4th quarter. So if he can find his base, which is going to be a tall task against this front for Ole Miss, he can make the throws, has a good arm, and once again is athletic enough to get on the move, and that's something they're going to want to do in this game, get him on the edges.
He started 2 years at Northern Iowa, lost the job last year, and now he's playing in Conway. First play is a handoff to their stud running back, Darius Hale. Foreign White's the best player for them. He's lit up by Tavius Robinson after a gain of 8.
Well, runner-up to the FCS Freshman of the Year last year. They're talking about a 1,000-yard running back, and you're going to see some similarities between this offense and what Ole Miss does. They want to spread you out, mix up the tempos, a lot of the run-pass options, these RPOs. And if you get a light box, so 4 or 5 guys in the box, and there's accounted for by the offensive lineman, number 4 is going to have himself a decent afternoon.
Keep in mind, the Ole Miss base defense is only 3 linemen down as Hale gets the call for the 2nd play in a row, meets a pack of Rebels near the sticks. That should be enough for a first down UCA.
Well, it's going to be tough for the quarterback because you are going to get into this light box situation where it is going to be a 3-2. So in your mind, you're thinking, okay, this is a run. I got 5 offensive linemen, for 5 defensive guys in the box, but that's when you see these safeties for Ole Miss headhunting, coming downhill, filling those gaps, and really going to stay within 7-8 yards of the line of scrimmage so they can fill in the run game.
And Chris Partridge, the co-defensive coordinator, told us yesterday they feel better this year than they did last year about matching bodies. They've got more depth up front. McElvain looked to throw for the first time today. Now he tucks it, keeps it, slides down for a short gain. Troy Brown, the transfer from Central Michigan, applied the pressure.
Oh, it looked like some confusion on the outside. Once again, one of those RPOs, run pass options. Number 2 receiver should have run a hitch route off coverage on the safety. Would have been an easy pitch and catch, but that's what happens when you have transfers. We're going to see that on both sides. Miscommunication, especially between quarterbacks and receivers, that just haven't worked out the kinks yet early on this season.
Tristan Smith, number 5, is the running back next to McElvain. After no gain on the QB keeper, McElvain looks to throw, evades the rush. He is nimble with the legs, but again, he's chopped down after a short gain. That's Brown in there again. Looks like he might be spying the quarterback to set up 3rd and long.
Well, they're dropping 8 in coverage, and they're just saying, hey, we will let you run the football and then fill in with our safeties coming downhill. And it just, as a former quarterback, it's not easy to throw when there's 8 guys dropping back in coverage, and then you do have that one player defensively that's eyeing the athletic quarterback, making sure that if he does pull it down and run, that someone's there to make the play. And you mentioned a good point. Ole Miss will, throughout this game, mix up a little bit of 4 down, whether it's matching big bodies or getting 4 of their best rushers on the field to get at the quarterback, and we're going to see that right now with 4 guys down.
McElvain takes the snap on 3rd and 8. They keep it on the ground. That is Tristan Smith, who has a first down. They keep it on the ground on 3rd and 8 and move the chains.
Well, they brought in their 4 best pass rushers for Ole Miss. And these guys thinking 3rd and long, let me get up. And a great job, a little guard pulling action. You got linebackers and safeties dropping because of the down and distance. You got 4 defensive linemen that are getting after the quarterback, not expecting the run. Great call there to get the first down.
Smith, the sophomore out of Duncanville, Texas, picks up the first down on the first 3rd down of the night near midfield. McElvain back in the gun. Flag on the field. Our first penalty tonight.
Illegal snap on the offense, number 60. That's a 5-yard penalty, and it remains first down.
Lee Hedrick makes the call, our referee this evening. That's Jack Green, the center. Again, early in the season, he's a transfer from South Alabama, so you've got a South Alabama center and a Northern Iowa quarterback trying to make things happen here at UCA. Play clock is under 10 again. Now at 3, McElvain takes the snap, right back up the middle. There's Smith one more time. They're keeping him busy on this opening drive. He's near midfield with a short gain.
Oh, they got to be happy with this drive. 3rd down conversion, running the ball well, especially with this weather right now. A quarterback with not the biggest hands in the world, you want to protect him and not force him to have to throw the ball vertically down the field. But you will see some shots. They're going to go run, RPO, quick hitch, either to the slot receiver or the outside, force these safeties that are so aggressive in run fill to come up and at some point take a shot down the field.
Hale is back out there alongside McElvain. Rain's coming down. This is somewhere between a sprinkle and a drizzle, I would say.
Yeah. Well, right now, look at this box that Ole Miss is presenting. 3 down linemen, 1 linebacker inside, just screaming for them to run the football.
They go play action, and the pass is dropped. Gerard Barnes, you can see that ball is slippery, sets up 3rd and 8.
It's the same exact play that they ran earlier that the quarterback ended up running, and it just seems like there's some kind of confusion with Barnes right now on these hitch routes. He was a little late turning around, and still at the end of the day, it's a light box. There's 4 guys in there, and I'm sure the coordinators are saying, run the football. We got numbers. Let's get to 3rd and manageable and get out of these 3rd and long situations.
Nathan Brown, the head coach of UCA, his alma mater, the most prolific quarterback in program history, hoping his quarterback can convert another 3rd down and long with the play clock at 5. White in motion. Again on the ground on 3rd and long. This time they won't get there. Hale is twisted down by Cedric Johnson coming over from his DN position to set up 4th down.
Fool me once on 3rd and long running the football. Don't fool me twice. Back down to their 3 down linemen, and a great job just shedding that left tackle. Johnson making the play.
So it brings out Chandler Coffron, the sophomore out of Memphis, to kick it away. Jordan Watkins is back to receive. Transfer from Louisville. Ole Miss had the number 2 ranked transfer class in the country. That's a high snap with a slippery football picked up by the Rebs, and this will be 6. A special play in special teams. Ladarius Tennyson scores it for the Rebs.
You said it, slippery football, still raining a little bit, long snap.
We'll check the penalty flag.
Illegal formation on the offense. Number 23 became uncovered in a scrimmage kick formation. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Well, Darius Tennyson is one of their biggest contributors on defense. Out there playing special teams, and he scores.
That's a bad feeling for a punter. First of all, I'm sure you're thinking about it. It's wet. Just please give me the football. Well, you're concerned about just catching the ball yourself. Ball goes over your head, and great job, Ole Miss, taking advantage. Sending the lead to 13, about to be 14-0.
Cruz out there for another extra point. And Luke Altmaier's got to be sitting on the sideline saying, hey, 2 touchdowns for my offense. Score looks good. This one was on special teams.
Ole Miss, big 3rd down stop. Miscue. Botch snap. Pickett, scoop and score. 14-0 Rebels.
Back at a rainy, wet, and wild Vaught Hemingway Stadium. The weather was pretty nice pregame at the Grove and on the Walk of Champions. It's a little wet here now, and that has already played a role as Ole Miss scores a touchdown, a scoop and score for Ladarius Tennyson on a botched snap on a punt, return 25 yards for a touchdown. The Auburn transfer, one of a couple cross-division transfers on this Ole Miss roster, scores it to make it 14-0 Rebs. Drew Carter, Aaron Murray, Tara Talmadge with you as Ole Miss kicks it away up by a couple of touchdowns. John David White, 3 and White, is back to receive. The Arkansas transfer hauls it in inside his own 5, and he has stood up inside the 15-yard line. Ole Miss special teams looking outstanding in the early going here. Mentioned that Tennyson is a transfer from Auburn. They've got a lot of them, nearly half the roster made up of transfers. Number 2 transfer class in the country, according to 24/7, behind only USC, so the connections between those 2 schools continue. But this is how you reload in today's day and age.
Well, and what did Lane Kiffin tell us yesterday? It's like an expansion team, and the thing that they're working on consistently right now is more the situational football aspect of the game, that the 3rd downs, the 2-minute drills, things that you just haven't had a chance to rep yet. And also, where are they at in the playbook on both sides? Usually you're deeper into the playbook by this point of the season. Not so much right now.
First carry goes to Kylan James. He's going nowhere. Austin Keys, linebacker number 11, in there first for a short gain. And I love what Lane said about how it's like an expansion team. I mean, they're trying to break some habits of guys who come over from other schools. And Coach Kiffin said it's not that anyone does anything else wrong. They're just trying to get them acclimated to how they do it here.
Yeah, everyone has their culture that they want to build. Obviously, the system that they run on both sides of the football, especially on the defensive side, is a little bit different than what you see from a lot of schools in the SEC. So these guys got to learn it in a short period of time.
2nd down and 7. McElvain throws. This one's incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd down and 7. Let's go back down to Tara.
Yeah, you know, you're talking about that transfer portal. Lane Kiffin loves it, but he compares it actually to speed dating. He says that it's way different from normal recruiting, whereas with the transfer portal, you kind of talk to a guy once or twice, and then all of a sudden they're here.
Yeah, Tara, that was J.J. Pegues. We just saw big number 89 in the middle of that D-line. He also came over from Auburn. Lane is not afraid to poach guys from other teams in the SEC West. Malik Heath, who caught a touchdown last week, he transferred in from Mississippi State. 5 on the timer for McIlvain. James, the running back, again on 3rd down and 7. McIlvain is flushed, evades the rush once, tucks it, ran into his own offensive lineman, and he'll come up 3 yards short of a first down.
And a great job on the back end from Ole Miss. I think they're expecting this as well. Getting the quarterback on the run, getting him outside, using the athleticism, but just not anything open. Trying to double move on the outside, a little out and up. Smart move not throwing it, but nothing there. And great job defensively once again. It's a good defense, man. And it's a deep defensive line, secondary. You're going to see, obviously, a lot of newcomers, but a lot of rotation, keeping guys fresh.
Nice snap that time, but it's blocked. Ole Miss's punt return team is on one today in Oxford. Out of bounds inside the 5. Who needs an offense when you got these guys?
Come on, Lane. Show a little bit more excitement. Let's go.
Show some juice, Lane.
Show some juice. Special teams, the part of the game. How many special teams issues did we watch last week? So we talk about situational football. You can kind of throw special teams into this. And the fact that your guys on punt return have come out, hair on fire, making plays, touchdown, and then another block punt right there.
That was Bobo Miller, 32 in red, who snuffed it out. And Altmaier and company start at the 4-yard line. Zach Evans gets the call, the TCU transfer, and he picks up maybe a yard on first down.
Well, Luke's saying, man, I picked the right game to be the starting quarterback. Great first drive. Another 7 points on the board, and then, hey, man, give me the ball inside the 5-yard line. Coach, call a pass play.
Pad those stats. Evans, the running back again. Altmaier keeps it this time, pumped, sheds a tackler, throws to the end zone, touchdown Rebs again! Michael Trigg with 2 scores in the first 10 minutes. Luke Altmaier, have a day, kid.
He wanted him early, just couldn't find that throwing lane around the defender, somehow stays up. Trigg, great job blocking down, probably could have got to him. And then Luke staying alive, and then just enough juice to get it up and over the defender. Anytime you get a big tight end like that, throw it high, middle of the back in the end zone, let him go up there, dunk that ball for a touchdown.
Cruz out for his 3rd extra point in the first quarter today. You know, Altmaier on the Season documentary Ole Miss is producing said he's not very athletic. Well, he looked athletic on this play.
Oh, he looked like a heck of an athlete. Not there. Let me stay alive. Big man with his 2nd touchdown. Go up and get it. 21-0.
Well, Ole Miss says score from far. They didn't have to score from far last time as Michael Trigg catches his 2nd touchdown of the evening. 21-zip, Ole Miss over Central Arkansas. It's just how Luke Altmaier drew it up. A special teams touchdown, then they set him up inside the 5-yard line. Couple passing touchdowns, both of them to his tight end in his first start with the Rebs. Number 7's feeling good.
Well, he's the one that knows the playbook. That's the comfort level that Coach Kiffin has with Luke Altmaier as the quarterback of this football team. He's been here, he knows the reads, he knows the system, and he can teach some of these transfer guys that have come in to play like Trigg kind of what the expectations are within the system against certain defenses and certain fronts. And, you know, that is a certain comfort level that a coach has. And great start for him coming out of here hot with 2 touchdowns.
Jonathan Cruz on the kick. John David White calls for a fair catch. Central Arkansas starts at the 25. If you're just joining us, this was the first play from scrimmage. Altmaier to Jonathan Mingo, who goes up and over with a pro throw type catch. Then a block punt by Bobo Miller, skirts out of bounds at the 4-yard line, sets up this from Luke Altmaier. Is that Johnny Manziel?
The non-athletic of the two quarterbacks looking pretty slippery out here in the rain right now. I'll say that. And
yes. Hey, whoever wins this quarterback competition, keep throwing it to 0.
they got dudes. There's no doubt about it. Between Trigg and Mingo and Robinson and Henry.
Darius Hale on the run on first down, falls forward for a gain of 3. Asheen Young, the transfer from Iowa State, was in there first. And something Coach Kiffin told us to remember is, these coaches are going to consider the difference in competition between the opener against Troy last week, a solid, FBS defense, against Central Arkansas, which is a great FCS program, but it's not the same level of competition. So they'll consider that. It's not just going to be a one-to-one comparison when you look at how Dart performed last week and how Altmaier's doing this week.
Well, then obviously the goal is to get Dart in this game as well, so you'll get to see him obviously not making the start, but still getting hopefully significant playing time.
Second down, Will McIlvain throws. It's low, but caught by Gerard Barnes again on that little hitch route. Sets up third down and 3.
That's the first time it's worked. They actually looked in sync there, and if the safeties are going to play at that 10-yard level, continue to run the hitch, take what's given to you. And I think right now, as a quarterback, don't get fooled. You can sometimes outthink yourself on some of these run-pass RPO options, and sometimes it's as simple as counting the amount of defenders in the box. And if it's 5 for 5, there's a good chance you're going to get some positive yards just running the football. So don't outthink yourself.
How about this part? That was McIlvain's first completion. Now 1 for 3 for 4 yards. On third down and short, that run's going nowhere. Hale is stood up in the backfield. It brings up fourth down. Kyrie Coleman, 23 in red, the transfer from TCU.
Well, that's one, if you actually read the box, there was too many defenders in there. You see blitzing safeties off the edge and nickels, and ended up being about 7-8 guys in there. Had one-on-one opportunities on the outside. Once again, another easy hitch to the slot receiver.
All right, here we go again. Hold on to your butts because Central Arkansas is punting.
You think Ole Miss is going to come?
I think the Land Sharks are out. Where's the Jaws music? Coffron to kick it away. Can he get it off this time? He does, but it was tight. This one spiraling toward the 30-yard line for Ole Miss. Watkins watches it bounce out of bounds. With under 3 to play in the first quarter, finally UCA gets one off. Ole Miss ball in a second.
Illegal motion on the offense number 3, going in motion from the line of scrimmage. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. First down.
Luke Altmaier getting the start today, and what a start it's been. It's great when you got Mingo on the outside, one-on-one, let the big guy go make a catch. And then Trigg, the transfer, easy. Fake cut across, and then, hey, he could have thrown this one a little bit earlier, but I think he wanted to prove to the coaching staff how athletic he could be. Beautiful job staying alive and finding his tight end once again. 3 for 3, 2 touchdowns. Pretty good start in this quarterback competition.
Hey, Aaron, how about this for a passing efficiency? 451.6. You ever have one of those games at Georgia?
I wish.
Quinshawn Judkins, the true freshman running back, on the play fake. Altmaier throws again. He's 4 for 4. That's Jalen Robinson taking it across midfield. James Jordan brought him down.
Flash, Jalen Robinson. You're going to see him in the slot all year long. Great job reading the linebackers. They pulled it, and threw it.
After the gain of 16, there's Judkins, and the true freshman is special. First down, Ole Miss, finally pushed out of bounds at the 35-yard line.
And what Coach Kiffin said yesterday, he said a violent running back with incredible NFL talent. You saw it right there. I mean, they lost a lot last year at the running back position, including a running quarterback, and Lane feels this class may be even better.
Yeah, Ely is gone, Connor is gone, but Judkins, they have been so impressed by this guy after that short gain. A flag is down. We'll check on the penalty. Lee Hedrick, our referee tonight.
Illegal block below the waist on the offense number 73. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
That's Eli Acker. This is a point of emphasis for officials this year, Aaron, is that block below the waist.
Well, they want to keep people safe, and I 100% agree with it. In staying off the knees is going to be a key, so they've kind of changed the rules up of where you are inside the box and being able to cut, not being able to cut if you're not inside the tackles or when you get to that second level. It has to be someone immediately in front of you.
So it's a first down and forever for Altmyer. Will he air it out over the middle? That's on the money and complete. Malik Heath, the Mississippi State transfer, moves the chains on first down and 24.
Well, let's give the offense some love. Obviously, offensive line with the penalty the previous play, but they've done a great job opening lanes and then giving their quarterback plenty of time. And then, shoot, it looks like 7-on-7 out there for him.
That was a gain of 26. Altmyer is 5 for 5. Floats this one for Mingo off the hand, but 2 flags come in. Lots of contact on the coverage.
Well, they love this concept. The RPO, reading the backside safety inside the red zone. If he settles his feet at all, it's one-on-one with the corner.
Pass interference on the defense, number 3. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Carries an automatic first down.
All right, so you got the height advantage on the outside with Ringo against James Jordan. And as a quarterback, as soon as you see the safety squat, you see 23 in the middle of the field. You know you have an opportunity to throw it up to the big guy, see if he can make a play.
That's what Corral was so good at last year, that RPO, put it in the gut, quick, first read. Altmyer trying to fill his shoes here. He's 5 for 5. Pulls it, throws it left side. Mingo again, tons of contact. Doing battle with James Jordan one more time, sets up second down, and that's Altmyer's first incompletion, now 5 for 6.
They probably should have handed that football off, honestly. You know, they have 2 high safeties, a help support on the backside. They know if there's one-on-one coverage, the ball's going to go to Mingo. You saw the backside safety support, opportunity just to hand it. Right now, though, it's one-on-one. You pick your best matchup and you take it.
And watch the bottom of the screen. Instead, they keep it on the ground with Judkins. Delivers the stiff arm, but dragged down by Demetrius Charles, the sophomore out of Texarkana.
You got to be wary right now defensively. Showed a couple times his Saul blitz. So 2 outside guys coming, cover 0. They're going back to man-to-man coverage right now with a little help on the backside.
Now third down and goal from the 8-yard line. First real test for Luke Altmyer. 1 for 1 on third down tonight.
Yeah, Trigg one-on-one in the slot.
Under a minute to play in the first quarter. Altmyer looks to the right side. Stays locked in over there. Throws the corner to Trigg, the tight end. And another flag comes in as the pass is incomplete. Cameron Godfrey on the coverage, trying to find Trigg for his 3rd touchdown of the first quarter.
Well, that's the matchup you want. It's man-on-man, athletic tight end, bigger body against a safety. I'm going to take it every single time. Great read.
Nathan Brown, the head coach, saying it's uncatchable.
Not with Trigg. We've seen it.
Yeah.
He can jump up there and get it, so not uncatchable there.
Anything's catchable for that guy.
Pass interference on the defense, number 4. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line, and it carries an automatic first down.
Yeah?
No, definitely not uncatchable. He really was not given an opportunity to make a play and finish his route on the corner. I think good call from the ref.
Sets up first down and goal. Altmyer back in the gun. Pulls it out from Judkins. Back to Trigg on the goal line, and they kept him out. Trigg could taste his 3rd touchdown tonight.
He got a little bit lazy there. He thought he was going to be in. Get a turn and dip that right shoulder and run him over. He thinks he's in, not expecting the big hit to keep him out.
It was Trey Green who made the nice play. Sets up second down. Altmyer keeps. Stiff arm. Quarterback to the end zone. Touchdown, Luke Altmyer. I thought he said he's not athletic.
I was just about to say, can we please find the clip of him saying I am not athletic, because he's made 2 very athletic plays tonight. Previous touchdown, guys on his ankles, he stays alive, throws to the Trigg for a touchdown, and then right there, one-on-one, finds a way to get in the end zone. I think he's underselling himself a little bit. I guess, undersell, overperform.
Yes.
That's what you want to do in life, and he's doing it right now.
Cruz on the extra point. 28-0 in the first quarter. Big play here on first down and 24. He finds Malik Heath as they fire the cannons. Hopefully Juice has the headphones on. This 1st and 24 delivers a strike.
Well, great job putting the ball into the belly of the running back, and a great fake, and you saw the linebackers come up just enough. And that's all you need in this offense. As soon as you see linebackers settle for even a split second, you have the opportunity to pull it and throw it. And then the zone read, showing what kind of athlete he is. 3 touchdowns on the day, 2 passing, 1 rushing. Making his case to be the starter for Lane Kiffin. Man, I'd be balling my little butt out too if I could be the quarterback for Lane Kiffin, and obviously seeing what he's produced at that position and the offenses that he's created.
Now, listen, it's FCS, right? And Ole Miss was expected to win this game by $1 billion. But is there anything Luke Altmyer could have done that he hasn't? No, right?
No.
It's been an outstanding audition for the job.
Well, you worry in a situation like this where you know that you have to go out there and perform, and a lot of quarterbacks, what they do is they get caught trying to do too much. And I think for any young quarterback, what they need to realize is these coaches just want to see you run the offense effectively. If a big play is there, take it, but don't force things. Just if it calls for a run, run it. If it calls for a pull and throw, then pull it and throw it. And right now he's showing his maturity within this offense.
Cruz kicks it away. J.D. White back there again, calls for the fair catch. Central Arkansas starts at the 25. Now for the Bears, they knew that this would be a stiff test coming here to Oxford. It's actually their second trip here. You see, they have a lot of transfers as well. 3-time national champs back in the 80s and 90s. But back in 2012, in Hugh Freeze's debut with Ole Miss, Central Arkansas came to this building and actually led by 6 at halftime. Now, Bo Wallace went nuts in the second half, 35 straight points. Ole Miss ended up winning this game, but it's a good Central Arkansas program.
I think good for Ole Miss, too, to come into a game like this and seem like they are obviously hitting on all 3 cylinders, offense, defense, and special teams. Not taking them lightly.
Will McIlvain back to work. He's complete on first down to Gerard Barnes, who's been on the receiving end of both of his completions tonight as the clock hits 10 in this first quarter. And winds. By the way, that win for Ole Miss back in 2012, yes, the NCAA, it never happened, but we know it did. It happened on this field. 28-0. Luke Altmyer couldn't look any better. 6 of 7, 90 yards, 2 scores. The Rebs are rolling. Not a bad start for Luke Altmyer in his first start at the helm of Ole Miss. This quarterback competition rages on with Jackson Dart. 28-0 Ole Miss over Central Arkansas here at the Vaught in week 2. Drew Carter, Aaron Murray, Tara Talmadge with you. Thrilled to be here in Oxford. Even though it's a little rainy tonight, the fans are undisturbed. Second down for UCA to start. Darius Hale, their star running back, is stood up after a short gain. It'll bring up 3rd down and 1, maybe inches for the Bears.
Let's see if they can get something going. That first drive, they did a good job. Stalled out about the 50-yard line, but really led, and it's going to have to be led by Hall and his ability to run the football.
And Hill last year, the runner-up for the Jerry Rice Award, which goes to the top freshman in FCS. He lost out to some guy named Shadur Sanders, son of Dion, playing at Jackson State and balling again as a sophomore. Hale's the running back, under 10 on the play clock for Will McIlvain. 3rd down and 1. Keep it on the ground. Hale sifts his way through, has the first down and plenty more. Lost the lid as Asheen Young came in to apply the tackle. First down Bears on the gain of 10.
And great job by Hale. The patience in the hole. You see Ole Miss selling out. And then the easy jump cut to the right. Get north. He's talented. I mean, there's a reason why he was freshman runner-up last year. He has ability, and he has playmaking ability to get to that 2nd and 3rd level.
Hill gets a breather. Tristan Smith comes in to McIlvain's left. McIlvain keeps, throws over the middle. That's deflected, incomplete, brings up second down. For more on Hale, let's go back down to Tara.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to talk with Darius Hale earlier this week and ask him, what do you think your strengths are? And he said, I'm typically pretty humble, but I gotta say, I think I could do it all. And when I asked him who he most compares his game to in the NFL, it's Leonard Fournette. That's who he models himself after. Not a bad comparison.
Yeah, not bad at all, Tara. SEC fans will remember Leonard Fournette, especially back in college at LSU, and he's still playing at a high level in the pros.
We're seeing this 4 down front right now, mixing it up. Nope, dropping back to 3.
Now back to 3. McIlvain throws. He had 4 wide receivers. Eludes the rush. Throws low. That is caught, but it's a short gain on second down. It was Tristan Smith, the running back out of the backfield, who brought it in, and there's an injured Rebel way back in the backfield. I think that's Cedric Johnson, the defensive end, a junior out of Mobile, Alabama.
Good to see him get up. Kyrie Coleman, though. Talk about transfers. TCU transfer, 2 sacks last week, 5 TFLs. Number 23, you saw him get the defensive line and then come back, shadowing the quarterback. And then the explosion to force Will to throw the ball just a little bit early there. And there's a situation right now we've seen from this offense. You've got to be prepared to run the football.
Kylan James, the new running back for UCA. They've used 3 on this drive. 3rd down and 6. McIlvain looks right. Here comes the heat, and down goes McIlvain. Jared Ivey was in there, and your man Kyrie Coleman, 23, the transfer from TCU.
I told you, man, that explosion off the edge. The right tackle just has no chance. Times it up, gets upfield. You want to see the quarterback step up in the pocket, but there's nowhere to go. This is where you see the difference when you're facing a school like this, that the ability up front to dominate, to push guys, and then get over the edge.
UCA lined up to go for it. Ole Miss will burn a timeout.
It's their first charge timeout.
If you're Central Arkansas, why not? Down 4 touchdowns. Your punt unit has been a complete disaster so far. What do you think?
No, still punting. So,
maybe a pooch punt?
It's still the second quarter, for goodness sakes. Let's not go crazy and start trying to go for it in your own territory and 4th and long situation. I can understand if it was 4th and medium, yeah, possibly, especially with the way your punt unit's been performing. But no, punt the football, and 2 for Ole Miss. I want to see as much as I can. I would rather than punt the ball to see Luke Altmyer have a complete drive. See what he can do if he has to get the ball around the 10-yard line. See if he can work this offense for 80, 90 yards. I understand it's easy when you get a block punt. You got 5 yards to go.
Well, folks, don't forget next Saturday, a full day of SEC football kicking off at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, with number 20 Kentucky hosting Youngstown State. Wildcats fans are going to feel either really good or really bad about their team, depending on what happens this week. That one's on SEC Network. Then Missouri hosting Abilene Christian on SEC Network Plus, continuing through number 12 Florida, taking on South Florida at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. Every game available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. 4th down and 9, they're going for it. McIlvain in the gun. Darius Hale's the running back. The transfer quarterback barks out instructions. And it's a pooch punt. Oh, Ben Roethlisberger style, and how about the leg on the quarterback? McIlvain's punt skips out of bounds inside the 10. Wow, not bad.
I feel like I needed Oxford and Ole Miss a lot more than it needed me. And so I enjoy it here. It's been awesome.
Really cool soundbite from Lane Kiffin. And when we were meeting with him yesterday, that was the last question we asked him about. He thought he was going to escape the meeting room before we got to ask him about it. He said he knew we were going to ask him about it. I asked him what he meant by that, and he said for the first time since he was fired at USC, his daughter Landry moved with him. So his daughter's here in Oxford. They've got Juice, the dog. He says he loves how kind the people have been here to him and how much they've welcomed him with open arms as Zach Evans is tripped up for no gain. Seems like a different Lane Kiffin, right, Aaron?
Well, he said, I mean, if his daughter didn't move here, he'd be living in the facility, not getting to know the people in this community, and that's really forced him to get to know some parents at her school and just really embrace this new change of scenery. And obviously, Ole Miss is a great place, great town. We were out there last night in the square. A lot of fun.
2nd down and 10. Back on the ground with Evans, and the ultra-talented transfer from TCU is brought down near first down yardage. And those chains will move for a fresh set.
Well, Lane, hey, listen, he's meant to be in the SEC, I'll tell you that. He is a heck of a personality. People love him. The fans love him. The players love him.
Well, how fun is it now in the state of Mississippi with Lane on one side and Mike Leach on the other?
Oh, there's plenty of good quotes to go around, that's for sure, and a lot of good offense too. I think at this day of age, you need an offensive mind for any new change of coaching scenery. If you can go offense, you're going to win over the fans pretty fast.
Again, it's Evans right up the gut, dragging defenders. Brought down by Kamari Clark, the cornerback, and that's a tough task, a cornerback trying to tackle that guy, gain of 8.
Well, I think it was a good comment from him too, just because this offseason there were some coaching openings at Florida and Miami, and obviously Lane's name was being surfaced all over the place as Ole Miss just ran for another first down, and he seems to be, once again, very happy where he's at, and obviously coming off a 10-win season, you can win here. And we alluded to at the beginning of the show, the West right now is an absolute mess, and Ole Miss has pieces to be competitive this season once again.
There was a great piece on Game Day today by Gene Wojciechowski about the Nick Saban Witness Protection Program. Obviously, germane today with Saban against Steve Sarkisian in that Bama-Texas game, as Luke Altmaier doesn't complete that time. Throw was a little low for J.J. Henry, the slot guy, brings up 2nd down and 10. But just a great story about how, guys who are disgraced might be too strong of a word, but listen, Lane was pretty close to rock bottom after being fired on the tarmac at USC. Goes to Alabama, totally revolutionizes their offense. I mean, think about 10 years ago, they were ground and pound, beat you with defense. Their Heisman quarterback just won the award, and their wide receiver won it the year before him. A lot of that is thanks to Lane Kiffin, as Quinshawn Judkins, the true freshman, has a big gain on 2nd down into Central Arkansas territory.
Oh, I'm going to love this rotation of backs. The SEC now is no longer just one solid back. You need 2-3 guys plus a quarterback threat of running it as well. And
flag on the field before the snap. 5 minutes into the second quarter.
False start on the offense, number 54. That's a 5-yard penalty, and it remains first down.
25 yards for Judkins here.
And you saw the speed and the explosion off the edge. And some misconfusion. You see the offensive line, right guard, right tackle pulling to the left. Usually the running back follows. Defensive line linebackers are kind of thrown off. That's just the brilliance of Lane Kiffin and his offense doing things outside the box.
That's a high snap for Altmaier, who somehow collects it, keeps it in Rebel hands, and picks up about 5 on first down. Demetrius Charles was in there first for UCA.
We're just going to keep chalking up the athletic things that Luke Altmaier does today. That is number 3. Bad snap, little high, able to scoop it up. Right here, they'll protect yourself. I mean, that's the one thing that, might have fumbled the ball, actually, if they take another look. That drove me crazy watching Matt Corral last year, putting himself in situations where he didn't have to get hit.
Judkins again, making Bears miss. Quinshawn Judkins finds another crease and takes it inside the red zone. This true freshman is special.
And to have him backing up Evans and what we saw from Evans last week and early in this game, I know you have to take into account the competition, but this offensive line, it's 2 weeks in a row that they've done a great job producing some space for these running backs.
Central Arkansas. This is
After the gain of
timeout
34, timeout Central Arkansas. They're so excited about Quinshawn Judkins.
What's just so funny, we think of this offense, we think of Lane and what he's done with quarterbacks, and you think of what he did obviously last year with Matt Corral, and you think throw. These big explosive plays down the field where guys are right open and Lane's throwing his clipboard in the air, but this is an offense that is built on running the ball first and then taking advantage when the defense comes up to be able to hit those shots down the field. And this is going to be no different this year. This is going to be one of the best running units, not just in the SEC, but in the country with these backs and this offensive line.
Let's go back down to Tara.
Yeah, you see Judkins making some serious plays out here, and it's hard to believe that this guy is only 17 years old. And when we asked Charlie Weiss Jr. about him, he said, we knew he was going to be good when we saw him in practice running over all of our veteran players.
Yeah, that was crazy when he got here. Yeah, practice number 3 in the spring. He's out here laying dudes out who have been in the program for 4 or 5 years. I mean, this is a high NFL talent. That's how Lane Kiffin described him to us. We've got a 3-headed monster in the backfield. It's Judkins again on 1st down and 10. Trying to get the edge, bowled over another defender for a gain of about 5.
You know, that reminds me of when Todd Gurley got to Georgia, summertime. He's a big kid. 7-on-7, he doesn't look great. I told Bobo, yeah, Keith is, to me, maybe the more impressive one. First day, Todd runs over about 5 guys in practice.
You're like, I want to amend that statement.
Yes.
Judkins again trying to get around the left side. This time, he's brought down by a couple of Bears. Number 9, Logan Jessup, made the final tackle.
Well, this is the point of the field. Trigg is not on the field. He has been the red zone machine anytime the tight end gets matched up one-on-one.
3rd down, Altmaier keeps, flush to his left, looking, jump pass, shovel style, falls incomplete, and brings up 4th down. He was trying to get it to Casey Kelly, the tight end. And Darren Davenport is the injured Bear.
Well, a similar play they scored to Trigg early on in this football game. You're going to sneak the tight end from right to left. He's going to fake cut block, and this time defensively, Davenport not biting at all, and it's a dangerous pass right there.
Very crafty. That was like a floater in the lane.
It was crafty, but also that's one that if it didn't go well,
yeah,
you're walking to the sideline with your head down and hoping Coach Kiffin doesn't call you over for a little chat.
We'll check on Davenport, hope he's okay. It's 4th down and 4 right now for Ole Miss. The offense is still out there. They can pick up a 1st down at the 2.
Well, first things first, if you got one backside matched up man on man.
Altmaier throws over the middle, incomplete. Again looking for the tight end, Casey Kelly. And Ole Miss turns it over on downs in the red zone.
That's a great job defensively. Saw dog, cover 0 blitz, inside leverage, doing their job.
Central Arkansas helmets. They're wearing a 43. That's in honor of Garrett Thomas, their former walk-on tight end, who was slated to go on scholarship after spring practice, but he passed away on campus back in March. They have dedicated the season to Garrett Thomas. He was a Central Arkansas guy through and through, and the Bears have memorialized him this year. For more on Garrett Thomas, let's go down to Tara.
Well, head coach Nathan Brown says that Garrett Thomas was the epitome of what it is to be a football player at Central Arkansas. He said that guy changed positions multiple times and did whatever he had to do to make that team successful. His locker at the university remains untouched. There's actually little sticky notes inside with notes from his teammates remembering him.
And Tara, that's a great point. Coach Brown told us that Garrett had a hard mentality. H-A-R-D, heart, attitude, respect, and discipline. Great way of putting it. He epitomized what this program is about and what they want it to be about, and they held a memorial service for him back in the spring. Comes from a great family, his parents Jeff and Jennifer, and a lot of people actually came back for that memorial service. Tyler Hudson, their best wide receiver in program history, who's now at Louisville, in the middle of spring ball with the Cardinals, he came back for that memorial service. That's how much Garrett Thomas meant to this program and still does. Second down and 9 for Will McIlvain. They keep it on the ground, and it's a short gain, setting up 3rd and long as Darius Hale is brought down. Tara, what else you got?
Garrett Thomas was also a walk-on at Central Arkansas, and he was just about to be put on scholarship, but unfortunately he passed just before that happened. So the university has actually created a scholarship in his name, and the first annual recipient of that scholarship is Tion Berry. He's number 11 wide receiver out here.
Awesome stuff, Tara. Thank you as they memorialize tight end Garrett Thomas. Before the 3rd down and 8, a whistle. And a pre-snap stoppage. Got to make sure the play clock is in order. And now the clock rolls. Midway through the 2nd quarter, Ole Miss leads by 4 touchdowns. A Central Arkansas team that didn't score in the first 3 quarters in week 1 against Missouri State, a top 5 FCS team led by Bobby Petrino. McIlvain to throw on 3rd down and 8 toward the right side. Is that picked off? Davison Igbinosun says he's got it, and they rule it incomplete. So the true freshman is robbed of an interception. Pressure by Cedric Johnson.
And they love this young man. They said he came in and just wanted to compete from day one. Definitely incomplete, but miscommunication once again. A little bit of pressure. But it was a cover 2 coverage, so receiver's actually going to convert his route. He did the right job. Quarterback has to let that thing go, see if he can fit in the hole between the corner and the safety. Once again, the ever exciting punt return for Ole Miss. We'll see what happens.
They blocked one. They also scored a touchdown on a scoop and score. This is Jonathan Mingo back to receive inside UCA territory, and he dances his way to the 35-yard line. The experienced wide receiver sets his team up with great field position, already up by 28. Ole Miss had a lot of guys to replace from last year at running back. They brought in a couple of transfers, and then this true freshman, Quinshon Judkins, who's going to play on Sundays.
NFL Town explosion, low to the ground. You see how tough it is to bring him down, and the acceleration too. I mean, he can do it all. This is going to be one heck of a backfield this season.
Luke Altmyer making the start, and he goes down in a heap. Logan Jessup twists him down for a big loss on 1st and 10.
Oh, one-on-one with the tight end, Casey Kelly. He takes advantage. Defensive end on a tight end. You hate that matchup. You would love to see the offensive line slide a little bit to that direction to give your tight end some help. Great job by Jessup.
Yeah, Jessup's been all conference in 2 different leagues the last 2 years. The Southland in 2020 and then the ASUN last year. 5.5 to play in the 2nd quarter. Altmyer throws again. He loads it up right side. There's the tight end Trigg who can't haul it in. Great recovery by Trey Green, the junior out of Arkansas.
He had him. Throw it a little bit earlier, a little bit farther down the field. You see Trigg still has an opportunity to go up there and make the catch. Great job defensively, though, and that's the one where you don't want to overthrow your receiver because he's so open, but you just got to let it rip and trust it that he's going to run underneath it, make the catch, and have an opportunity to score a touchdown.
3rd down and 18. Altmyer throws over the middle, can't be caught by Malik Heath, who put it on the deck. It was a great throw from Altmyer. Those two hooked up over the middle earlier. That time, though, incomplete as Altmyer's right shoulder looks a little banged up.
Yeah, he keeps kind of seems like he's trying to keep it loose, but little low, but definitely catchable. One that you expect these guys to make a play on and convert to get the 1st down. And this is what you always worry about in a game like this, these mental lulls where things just aren't working, and you can see the frustration from Lane Kiffin right there. This is a game where you want to be perfect or as close to perfect as you can, and right now it just seems like guys are a little bit complacent.
Fraser Mazin, the junior out of Brisbane, Australia, kicks it to Gerard Barnes, who fielded it on his own 1-yard line and has a nice return out to the 25. So Central Arkansas will start there, down 28-0, trying to get something going. Midway through the 2nd quarter here at the Vaught. This place is bouncing. You check out the game summary. Ole Miss humming offensively. In fact, the total yards number is kind of low considering what it could be, based on the fact they scored on a scoop and score on a punt, and then they had a 4-yard drive after a blocked punt. So the special teams have been special, and They've been rolling offensively and defensively as Will McIlvaine goes back to work for Central Arkansas. Quarterback completes for a first down to the right side, and his favorite target, Gerard Barnes, with his third catch today.
Well, that's one of the rare times we actually saw Ole Miss get to a 4-down defensive line, creating one-on-one opportunities on the outside, and actually good timing with the quarterback and receiver. Hit your back foot, get a quick hitch, get the conversion, and this is what you want to see. I mean, start taking some shots. You've run the ball. We've seen some quick hitches on some of the RPO run-pass option game. These safeties are getting heavily involved in the run game, so you're down 28. Like you said, man, let's start taking some shots, see what we can do down the field.
McIlvaine back in the gun. He will throw again. Right side again, trying to find Barnes again, and that one out of bounds. He's over there on Iggy Island, as they call it. The true freshman, Davison Igbinosun, is in there. That's Markevius Brown, I beg your pardon, on that side of the field. They don't even want to throw against Igbinosun.
No, I wouldn't either. And you're going to see a lot of guys rotating on this back end, especially at the safety position. They like to play three guys that can come down and be a smaller linebacker body, that hybrid, which is what you need nowadays because there's so many of these great tight ends like you see for Ole Miss, like Trigg. You need bigger bodies that can match up against those guys inside the box, but also athletic enough to cover on the back end, and Ole Miss has those players.
2nd and 10, McIlvaine complete over the middle. Tyon Berry, Miles Butler, makes a catch for a gain of 9.
I know you're excited for them to go for it on 4th down. I think this would be a moment for them.
I think so.
If they get it.
No pooch punt here. 3rd and short, right up the gut. There's Kylan James, the second-string running back, who moves the sticks right to midfield. James is a big body, 6'0", 220. 8 carries, 84 yards last week. They're excited about this running back room with him behind Darius Hale, who ran for over 1,000 yards last season. And they're both on the field now. Hale number 4 and James number 7. Playing an SEC team, just get your best guys out there, right?
Yeah, the whole game, football is about matchups. How can we get our best 4, 5 guys on offense, skill-wise, on the field and see if we can find some sort of man-on-man matchup?
James in the slot, motions through. McIlvaine to throw on 1st down and 10. Sees part, thought about keeping it, but he slides down at the line of scrimmage before Ladarius Tennyson was ready to blow him up.
So we had a great conversation, obviously, with the coordinators and Lane Kiffin yesterday, and then a lot of the talk was, especially on the defensive side of the football, like you go against Lane and his offense every day of practice, spring, summer, fall camp, and we saw some massive improvements on this side of the football. 2 years ago, giving up about 38 points per game. Last year, drastically went down to 25 points per game, and the more and more you face what Lane gives you, the more you have to essentially just get better. And we're seeing that last year, and they anticipate even a bigger step this year as well.
You saw Chris Partridge, the defensive coordinator, up top. And this time his defense snuffs it out for a short gain on 2nd and 10. Isaiah Eiton, big number 96, was in there first to keep Hale from popping a big gain. 3rd down and 9.
All right, now quarterback-wise, I'm just going to find a soft spot, try to get a completion, see if my receiver can make someone miss to get the 1st down. But 28-0, you really haven't moved the ball that effectively here in the first half. Once again, it's 4-down territory, so don't feel like you need to be greedy. And once again, they've run the ball in this situation twice so far, and you see Ole Miss gearing up right now, loading the box, anticipating a possible chance to run it as well.
Under 2 in the 2nd quarter. McIlvaine lets it fly right sideline in the hands of his wide receiver, Miles Butler. And they rule out of bounds, no catch.
McIlvaine, that's twice this drive. You've had one-on-one opportunities on the outside, and the ball lands out of bounds. We talk about throwing it on the red line. Most practice fields have a red line about 5 yards away. You want the receiver to stack the DB, and then you have that room to throw it. And right now, he's just not giving his receivers an opportunity to stack and make a play on the ball inbounds.
Last time they lined up on 4th down and 9, McIlvaine hit a pooch punt that landed inside the 5-yard line. And that might be what they do again. It is indeed. This guy's got a great leg, but this one not quite as nice as it goes very high and out of bounds outside the 20. So with $1:29 to play in this first half, Ole Miss will start at the 27. And Luke Altmyer, he's been working that shoulder, Aaron. We're not sure if he's fully healthy, but he's looked outstanding in this first half.
No, he's done a great job in running the football, being athletic. You see him right there messing around. He took a shot earlier on in the game, and that was his last throw. And you see him pitching whatever it is right there in the right shoulder. But you know, you have an opportunity to be the starting quarterback at Ole Miss. This is your game to start. I'm with him, man. Ain't nothing going to take me out of the game if I can go out there and play still.
Well, those numbers are pretty stark. He started 6 for his first 7. Ever since, he's 0 for 5. Running back next to him is Ulysses Bentley as Altmyer throws, and that's picked off. Underthrown, taken away by Kamari Clark, and that shoulder does not look right for number 7.
No, I mean, that was severely underthrown right there. You know, first off, probably not a good decision to throw the ball, and then second, underthrowing it as well was a double whammy. Defense is backing up. They're anticipating pass. You're a little bit late. Ball just has no juice and life to it at the end of there. Easy interception for the defense for Clark. And, yeah, something just is not looking right. I know you want to compete, but if you can't go out there and give your best stuff, you're actually hurting yourself, obviously, in the quarterback competition as well. So don't want to lose that positive momentum he had there in the first quarter.
Got to feel good for Kamari Clark, the Mississippi native, with an interception here in Oxford. McElvain after the play fake, plenty of grass to his right, throws on the run, and it's on the money. Gerard Barnes again, who's been busy in this first half, moves the chains near the red zone.
And they need to continue to do that play action, get your athletic quarterback on the run, and then find that one-on-one with the slot receiver against the safety and take advantage of it. See if they can put some points on before halftime.
Clock is stopped at 1:15. Barnes has been on the receiving end of 4 of 6 completions for McElvain. As this time he swings it out, and the running back Hale couldn't squeeze it. This would be big for Central Arkansas, right? They get the ball to start the second half. They have had no juice whatsoever in the first half.
None whatsoever. So yeah, listen, you look at this game for them as any sort of positives you take and you try to run with it. And getting an interception, getting close to the red zone, having a big completion they just 2 plays ago. Yeah, any points in a game like this. And you know, we alluded to the stats last year. I mean, Ole Miss is not the defense we saw 2, 3, 4 years ago. This is a very talented group that has playmakers in all 3 levels, and anytime you get to move the ball, it's a win for this group.
Rebels bring 5, Bears pick it up. McElvain to his right, just burns it, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 10. With 1:04 to play in the second quarter, we'll see if the fans can bring some life back to the Vaught. It's kind of felt like a baseball game in here for the last few minutes ever since the pick.
Oh, I think, yeah. Well, I think the rain threw everyone off initially. Yeah. It was packed. Some people didn't want to get like you, they didn't want your hair to get all messed up, so they're like, yeah, we got to go for cover a little bit.
They all went to Funky's for cover.
They did go for Funky's or the the library.
The library, yep.
This is why I'm leaving tonight.
Funky's and cover go hand in hand, by the way. 3rd down and 10. McElvain looks to throw over the middle, deflected, and it falls incomplete. That was dangerous. 4th down and 10 coming up for Central Arkansas after Tavius Robinson, the Canadian out of Ontario, applied the pressure.
There's just not much you can do. Drop 8, and you got to keep some offensive bodies, some running backs back in for protection purposes. And you know, had an opportunity to make a play in the ball, but still, there's just a lot of people to maneuver around defensively, and you know. They're going to call time. I like going for it. I mean, 3 points really doesn't do anything for you right here. You know, we've seen him punt. I mean, if he wants to do the drop kick possibly and see if he can get 3 points that way. Yeah, why not? A little Doug Flutie action.
Well, you don't think making it a 25-point deficit does a whole lot for you here?
Hey, you get the ball at halftime, you come out, you use the energy, see if you can get under 20.
Yep.
I mean, listen, small victories. That's what life's about, and I think that's what their goal is. Can we get some kind of just get the goose egg off the board is always a good feeling. Can we put something on there?
That's Let's go back to that last play, the incompletion. Tavius Robinson, 95 in red, coming from the edge, applies the hit. It's actually a pretty good throw to Miles Butler, 14. Maybe a little too much dip on the chip on the throw from McElvain. This was coming in hot.
Yeah, but when you see drop 8, you know the windows are going to be tight. You got to bring a little bit of juice in there, and you expect the receiver to make a play like that. You got to catch the ball, understanding that it's busy in there. There's a good chance you're going to get hit, but it's the position you play.
Well, folks, don't forget, coming up at halftime, you can watch the live performance of the Pride of the South on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app. You got to stick around for that. They braved the elements tonight. Hopefully, flutes are waterproof. It's been raining.
Listen, it could be like Alabama, who didn't get to travel their band, so be grateful you get to see them.
That ain't right.
It's just not right.
It's not going to fly when they're in the SEC.
Come on, Texas.
4th down and 10. Under a minute to play in the second quarter. McElvain will throw. Left side. High up in the air and picked off. Isheem Young comes screaming over to make the play. Rebels football.
That's the center fielder you love to see, the Iowa State transfer coming in, knows it's a passing situation, and flies over there to make the pick. Great job reading the quarterback's eyes. He goes immediately to the left. Doesn't really look the safety off. It looks to secure the catch, 2 hands underneath, and Land Sharks are flying around. Another big play for the defense.
First Ole Miss interception for Isheem Young. He had 3 picks in 2 years at Iowa State. He was the co-defensive freshman of the year in the Big 12 back in 2020. And look who it is, Jackson Dart, who started the opener for Ole Miss last week against Troy. This quarterback competition continues, and now Dart gets his chance against Central Arkansas. Coach Kiffin said he liked basically everything he saw from Dart aside from a couple of plays, including the interception. And with 50 seconds to play until halftime, Dart will throw. 2 timeouts for Ole Miss as Dart rolls to his right. He is very athletic. He gives you a little more juice with his legs as he drags a defender out of bounds to stop it at 40. Corley Hooper on the stop.
Well, he is the downhill runner, a little bit bigger, a little bit more physical. I think what Matt Corral did last year is more of his style of playing. And honestly, watching the film last week, his ability to give that quick release off these RPOs I thought was impressive for his first go.
Now Dart to throw again. Stands in the pocket, throws a dart to Malik Heath at midfield. Move the chains, clock stops to reset it with 34 until halftime.
We talk about situational football, and this was a concern for Lane Kiffin heading into these games early on the season. So this is a perfect opportunity to work the 2-minute drill, the mechanics of it, and see if they can put some points on the board.
Last one went for 20, under 30 now until halftime. Dart throws on the move, a little too tall. That one sailed trying to find Heath. Trey Green, 23, almost had a pick. Let's go back to the one that worked to Heath.
Oh, same play, just a big dagger route across the field. Great job with his eyes. And then the anticipation, that's what you like to see. There's a linebacker in the window. Throw it right off his ear.
2nd down and 10. Dart to throw again. Moving quickly here. Ball to Heath. Could not find him. And again, you see the arm talent of Jackson Dart. Here's a guy who was the Gatorade National Player of the Year in high school back in 2020. Highly touted recruit, went to USC, transfers to Ole Miss. He has got the goods.
Oh, there's no... In my evaluation last week of him, you have to take into account the fact that he did not get all the reps he needed to get ready for the game because of the quarterback competition.
The battle is neck and neck as Dart has 3rd down and 10 here with 15 seconds until halftime. Evades the pressure, throws over the middle. He loves throwing over the middle. It's Michael Trigg on the catch, the tight end with 2 touchdowns in this first half. Gain of 15 that time. Ole Miss has 2 timeouts, and they'll use one here.
Well, I love to see a quarterback that's not afraid to throw the ball in the middle of the field. You know, it's so much easier to find your matchups on the outside and throw those one-on-ones, but to trust your guys over the middle of the field, especially a big body tight end like Trigg is, you see his ability to work the field left to right, step up in the pocket, use the big frame, and put an absolute dart on his tight end, and then the arm angles. You know, once again, we'll continue to compare these guys to Matt Corral because Matt did it so well. And we talked to the coaching staff. A lot of the teaching tape is of Matt Corral because he was perfect for this system. And a lot of it has to do with those arm angles, be able to move around and maneuver around defenders like that. And, you know, I saw enough of that from Dart last week to say, hey, man, you give him a couple games under his belt, I think he could be pretty darn good for this system.
And with Coach Kiffin and Corral, as you see Charlie Weiss Jr. in the middle of your screen, the 29-year-old offensive coordinator for Ole Miss, it wasn't just the fit for Corral in the system, it was the personality fit with Coach Kiffin. Both SoCal guys, they kind of had that in common. Dart and Altmyer know how similar Lane and Matt were, as Dart's a guy who's from Salt Lake City, played at SoCal last year. Looks to throw again over the middle. Again, it's complete. That's Jonathan Mingo with 3 seconds on the clock. They'll stop it to move the sticks. Again, one timeout for Ole Miss, and they'll use it. After the gain of 16, a chance to bring out the field goal unit, and a nice drive for Jackson Dart.
Oh, this is what you want to do. I mean, this is why you practice the situation instead of just running the clock out. This is situational football, and you don't know when you're going to have to go through a 2-minute drive in a tight ball game in the SEC, and this is, if Lane could have scripted a way to end the first half, this would have been it. Put me in a situation where my team has to run a 2-minute drive, and let's see if we can execute before half and put some points on the board.
So Lane will send out his kicker, who, yes, is a transfer, just like about half the roster here for Ole Miss. Jonathan Cruz comes over from Charlotte for a 41-yard attempt here with 3 seconds until halftime. This guy's got a big leg. He made 5 kicks from 50-plus when he was playing for the 49ers, including one to beat Kiffin at FAU way back in 2018. And before the kick, Central Arkansas will use a timeout. Can't take it with you. Trying to ice the kicker.
This is their final charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
You said it. You can't take him with you. You might as well use him. I mean, I don't think he's feeling too much pressure right now, I'll tell you that. But, hey, you know what? You might as well try. Give it a try, see if it works. And it has been a very interesting first 2 weeks of college football and just all the miscues on special teams. I mean, last week with LSU, a couple blocked field goals, extra point. You've seen, obviously, in this game alone, some issues on the special team side. Throughout the day-to-day, if you're watching college football, blocks, miscues with snaps, so you never know what could happen, and it's early on the year. There's going to be tons of mistakes in all 3 phases, and especially special teams, since you don't focus as much on it during those 4 weeks leading up to the first game.
This one from 41 yards. Jared Lawrence, the long snapper. Kincaid Dent is the holder. Jonathan Cruz, the transfer from Charlotte. He's got a huge leg, and that one might have been good from 61. Ole Miss 31, Central Arkansas 0. Luke Altmyer still feeling out that shoulder, but he engineered some touchdown drives, and then Jackson Dart came in and brought him into field goal range, and Cruz caps it off with a 41-yard field goal. Coach Lane Kiffin, his team leads by 31. He's on the field with Tara.
Coach, first start for Luke Altmyer. How do you assess his play?
Well, I think he's injured. You know, he's kind of holding his hand those last 2 series there. So he was moving the ball good early and obviously had a bad pick there.
Will Jackson Dart take it the rest of the way then?
Pardon?
Will Dart take it the rest of the way then?
I don't know that. It seems that we're headed that direction, but we'll get a medical update.
Well, your run game seemed pretty positive as well. Let's talk about that. How pleased are you with the way that they've been performing?
Yeah, kind of like our opener. We could have stayed with it, but we really wanted to throw the ball around and see if we get the passing game going. So our defense is playing great again, too.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
All right, good stuff, Tara. Coming up after the break, the SEC halftime report with Dari Nolke, Takeo Spikes, and Chris Doering. Ole Miss leads 31-0.
Welcome into the SEC Halftime Report. Good to have you with us, Dari Nowkhah, Chris Doering, and Takeo Spikes. And we look early in the day. A lot of eyeballs were on the noon kick between Alabama and Texas to see Alabama go on the road to Austin against a program. I know the past is the past. They've beaten once in 9 tries. But, of course, that one was for a national championship 2009 season. Now, to this day, Bryce Young and company in a 3-3 game against Steve Sarkisian and the Horns, and Jace McClellan going to break it with an 81-yard touchdown run.
Yeah,
now,
Texas did a great job for the most part. This one was about all the offense they had.
Nick Saban earlier in the week talking about going on the road in the state of Texas.
Everybody has heard that we're 20-point favorites in this game, and last time we were 20-point favorites and we went to Texas, we got our ass kicked.
Try not to get, kicked on this day. And this is where it fell apart, and really, for Texas, we didn't want to see this. Quinn Ewers, who'd had a phenomenal first quarter, taken down hard. Now, it is a penalty.
I don't think it should have been a penalty.
Driving him into the ground and ended up a sprained collarbone.
Certainly a big loss, but
yeah.
Card came in off the bench and battled in his own right.
Yeah, he did. Hudson Card, absolutely. But you saw some issues here. Dallas Turner flagged for a late hit. Again, this was kind of a theme for Alabama. Then Bryce Young on a run, and then the unnecessary roughness there on the block.
15 penalty for 100 yards. This is so uncharacteristic of this football team.
And then, the face mask. Again, this is, by the way, the 15 penalties, the most accepted penalties under Nick Saban for Alabama. And they're down 16-10 despite Ewers being out. And then Bryce Young, just a magnificent play.
Didn't have his best game,
Jahmyr
but
Gibbs
saved his best for last to rescue Alabama when they needed him.
4th down, Texas. Burt Auburn, interestingly named for a game against Alabama. Not going to let Auburn beat him, though, right? No. Look at this, Bryce Young, just being Bryce Young. After 3 quarters where the offense did virtually nothing, it went for 188 yards in the 4th, setting up Will Reichard for the game winner, and he got it. It was not easy, 20-19. Alabama gets the win. What's the lesson, Takeo Spikes? What do we take away? If we're an Alabama fan and we're all wondering if our team is everything we thought it would be, what's the lesson?
Don't read the headlines if you're a player. You can't fall in love to what we tell you. We can do that on this set, but they can't. I think it's important. Nick Saban nailed it earlier. It doesn't matter about what the outside noise talks about. Unless if you come in here and you continue to do the little things right, we won't find ourselves in this situation, and they almost lost that game today.
I think the great thing about Alabama under Nick Saban is they don't play to anybody else's standard. They play to their own level of expectation. Today was not up to that standard. 15 penalties, as you talked about. Protection was bad. Bryce Young was rushed 17 different times, went down twice. You look at the drop balls, explosive plays they gave up defensively. So it was very uncharacteristic, Dari, but I'll say this. That's why you have a guy like Bryce Young, because he didn't have a great game because of all these other things until the 4th quarter when they needed him and just rescued that Alabama team today.
And you said it too. You said, gosh, he's so cool, right? I mean, and he is. Ducking away from the coverage, making the play to the throw to Gibbs for the touchdown, and Alabama gets the victory. They go home for a game next week. It should be much easier than this one. But, props to Sark. This will be a conference game in a couple of years as well.
Props to him and those 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Both of them, after seeing what they face on tape in terms of pass rush, didn't look affected at all.
And I think it puts everybody else on alert, understanding and knowing this team is coming into the SEC, so we need to make sure we take care of what we can do. Get more players.
Well, and that commitment they got from a guy with a name that's very familiar to this team. They're only going to get better at the quarterback spot coming in. All right. How about South Carolina and Arkansas? Arkansas looking for their 2nd straight 2-0 start. Spencer Rattler with his team down a dozen. Rattler fires. He went for 376 in the air, 2nd most for him against a ranked team in his career, and I should say the most for him against a ranked team in his career.
That's Juice Wells right there. The
Yes,
transfer from JMU had a nice game last week in the debut. Today was the focal point of this passing game.
KJ Jefferson throws. Touchdown. Jefferson 162 and a touchdown. Also ran for 67 yards. Arkansas is indeed 2-0 with a 44-30 victory here. How good is Arkansas? I think they're really good.
You thought they were very good.
I thought they were the third best team in the league coming into the season, honestly, and I'm not really ashamed of that.
One of the things that I was concerned about, Takeo, was the lack of production from last year. Losing Treylon Burks, losing Hayden Henry, losing Grant Morgan. You know who stepped up to me? Somebody you're excited about. I thought Drew Sanders was absolutely lights out today defensively.
Oh, he was amazing. You look at what he was able to put together. Caused fumbles, sack, leading the defense, him and Bumper Pool. But the thing that really sticks out to me when you look at them from the offensive side, they had 6 scoring drives today. 4 out of the 6 scoring drives had at least 10 or more plays. So that means they're chewing up the clock.
Yeah.
And the defensive side, they came into this game, and I was wondering, can Catalan be replaced? Can they do what needs to be done in order to put together a complete game? And they did.
That's the bad news that came down earlier in the day is Jalen Catalan's season-ending surgery on the shoulder after all he went through last year as well. Tough break there. All right. Kansas State, Mizzou, former Big 12 rivals here. K-State's quarterback, former Nebraska quarterback, Adrian Martinez, takes it in from 16, and Missouri stopping the run's always a mystery.
Yeah, I think it might have been a little fool's gold last week when they held La Tech to 11 yards rushing. Today they gave up 235 yards on the ground, including 3 long runs for touchdowns.
Yeah, a long lightning delay, and then they are punting. Phillip Brooks picks it, takes it out of the air, and I should say takes it to the house, 75 yards.
Who did that there, Dari?
Who did what?
It was
there?
Vaughn, right? We talked about him last night.
Deuce Vaughn went for 145. Yeah. 145 on the ground. That's Brooks there, Phillip Brooks. Yes, indeed. All right, Vanderbilt. 2-0 coming into this game against Wake Forest, who got their quarterback Sam Hartman back. A.J. Swan, the freshman, comes in for the pulled Mike Wright. Swan threw a couple of touchdown passes. Maybe questions now in Nashville.
You slid that in, right? Pulled because Mike Wright had been the story of the season so far. 10 touchdowns heading into today. The offense looked listless for the most part.
Wake went for 451 total yardage. Sam Hartman threw 4 touchdown passes in a Wake Forest victory. All right. We'll recap the whole day coming up a little bit later. You know that after LSU and Southern, we've got you for an hour. SEC football final recaps of all of the events of the day in and around the SEC and the non-SEC stories you just have to know.
Ole Miss 31, Central Arkansas 0. The weather has been iffy here and there, some sun, some rain, some humidity, but the fans here at Vaught Hemingway always turn out, and so far the Rebs lead the Bears 31-0. Big news in college football lately is expansion is coming officially to the college football playoff. Approved to 12 teams, scheduled to start in 2026, potentially with an earlier start. 6 highest-ranked conference champions, including 4 byes to the top 4 conference champs, and 6 at-large teams. Aaron Murray, as we unveil what the bracket would look like right now, there is smoke coming out of his ears because Georgia would be the 5 seed. Yes, they're number 2 in the country, but not the conference champ as it stands right now.
Well, I think after today, it's going to flip, and Georgia most likely will have that 1 spot. Bama will be jumping back to 5, so they'll be just out. But I love it, man. More teams in, more chances. Make it fun, make it competitive. I mean, look at USC and what they've looked like these first couple weeks, taken to Stanford right now. So I think for the long term of the health of college football, this is a great thing for everyone.
Which of those matchups do you like best, real quick?
Georgia my dogs one. Yeah, of course.
Georgia
one first.
Why not? Luke Altmaier looked great in his start. The quarterback competition continues. We should see Jackson Dart in the second half. So far, so good in week 2 for Ole Miss after the season-opening win against Troy in the opener. They've got more points than they did last week, and we're only 30 minutes in, 31-0 the Rebels over the Bears of Central Arkansas. What's happening? Thanks for sticking with us. Drew and Aaron up top, checking with Tara Talmadge on the field in just a minute. And Aaron, you're the quarterback. We were all talking about quarterbacks coming in for Ole Miss. Luke Altmaier in his first start, what'd you think?
Well, he started off strong. He looked really good early on, really in complete command, and that's what you would expect. A guy that's been in the system that knows what is expected from him from his coaching staff, and came out hot. Beautiful throw across the middle of the field. You see his comfort level within the RPOs. And then one-on-one with his big receiver on the outside. Just give the guy a chance to make a catch. He does it, goes down the field. But then all of a sudden his arms started to aggravate him a little bit. You could tell in the throws. And then this last one, interception, just absolutely no life on the football. So a little bit concerned exactly what's going on with his shoulder. And, you know, start off, once again, you see it 6 of 7, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. Since then, 0 for 6, no yards. And then the one pick, Jackson Dart came in, had a great 2-minute drive to put some points on the board before halftime. And he seems to be the guy they're going to go with here in the second half.
Yeah, Dart came in with about 50 seconds on the timer in the first half and led him to a field goal 41 yards to make it 31-0. There's Jackson Dart, who started the opener against Troy, played the first 3 quarters, and Luke Altmyer did not see the field until midway through the fourth. Let's go down to Tara.
You know, I had the chance to talk with Nathan Brown, the head coach for Central Arkansas, coming out of half, and I asked him, you know, what are you looking for in the second half of the game? And he said, look, are we going to make a 31-point comeback? Probably not. But right now what he's looking for is something positive, something that this team can build off of. Some continuity on offense would be great. Some tape that they can look at after this weekend and say, we've got something going here. We can build off of this.
All right, good stuff, Terry. Central Arkansas's got a beast of a schedule to start the year. They were home for a top 5 FCS team in Missouri State. Then they're on the road 3 weeks in a row, including this one, back home October 1st to face Austin Peay. And there's Jackson Dart talking with his head coach, Lane Kiffin, 2 guys with USC ties. Dart spent his freshman year with the Trojans last year. He started 3 games, 62%. Over 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns through the air, and 2 rushing touchdowns, and he's trying to stake his claim as the starter here in Oxford. Jonathan Cruz will kick it away after Ole Miss won the opening toss and elected to receive and scored in 2 minutes. Central Arkansas will start with the football. John David White, the Arkansas transfer, after the fair catch, sets up his team to start at the 25. Aaron, what do you want to see from the Bears offensively?
Well, there was moments where things were going well. I want to continue to see them put their quarterback on the move. He's a guy that feels a little bit more comfortable outside the pocket, whether it's rolling to his right or left. So get some play actions, get him going a little bit early on in this third quarter, and then just run the football. It's still a somewhat light box that Ole Miss is presenting. And once again, light box in the sense of there's 3 D linemen and 2 linebackers. So you have 5 offensive linemen for 5 defensive guys, and you should be able to get some sort of surge to get 3, 4, 5 yards a pop.
Will McIlvain, the transfer from Northern Iowa, the Des Moines native, starts with a jet sweep to the wide receiver Gerard Barnes, who is lassoed down after a short gain on first down by Troy Brown, the CMU transfer, who's been real solid in his first game and a half in Oxford.
Oh my, 11 tackles last week versus Troy, 3-time first-team All-MAC, and these guys, it really is amazing to see these amount of transfers that are coming in having this much success day one. And this goes to the, who they're looking for in the portal. They're not just going out there grabbing anyone. They're not desperate in that sense. They really want to find guys that fit their culture, that are going to be willing to come in here, learn the system, and that's why you're seeing success day one, game one, and now into game 2 for them.
Tristan Smith, the running back, gets the call on second down. Another short gain. Burrows forward for 2. Tavius Robinson in there first for Ole Miss, sets up 3rd down and 6.
Well, and then the competition as well. I think that really has driven these guys to perform at a high level to start the season on the defensive side of the football. There's just a lot of depth at D-line, a lot of depth in the secondary. And those guys look at it as a challenge, like, hey, man, you brought this guy from here and this guy from here and this guy from here. You obviously brought them into this program for a reason. I need to elevate my game in order to make sure that I secure some playing time here as the season gets going.
Under 10 on the timer for McIlvain. 3 down for Ole Miss. They bring 4. McIlvain throws left side well low and nearly picked off by DeAndre Prince. So another 3 and out for UCA. Really couldn't get the offense rolling last week. Didn't score until the 4th quarter in the opener against Missouri State. More of the same here.
Yeah, and the third quarter is when they actually started running the ball a little bit more effectively last week and was able to mount a small surge to get back in the football game. And obviously different beasts going against this Ole Miss defense that a lot of talent.
This is where things got a little dicey for Central Arkansas in the first half. They had a block punt and a scoop and score. That time Jonathan Mingo with a fair catch on the punt from Chandler Coffron right outside the Ole Miss 30. That's where the Rebels will start. And Jackson Dart opens up the second half for Ole Miss. Jackson Dart, the USC transfer, starts the second half for Ole Miss. We got a brief glimpse of him back in the first half, led a field goal drive, and you see this guy going back to high school. He was a huge recruit, went to USC for a year, started 3 games for the Trojans, comes over in a very Lane Kiffin-esque move, ending up from USC to Ole Miss. Dart is here to compete for the job. Luke Altmyer is the other guy who's in the running, and Dart started last week. He opens the second half here for the Rebs. And they start with a jet sweep to Jalen Robinson, the UCF transfer. They call him Flash. He makes a couple guys miss for a solid game.
Flash is right. We're going to see a lot of that from him this season as long as he continues to stay healthy. And this is, I would have anticipated based on the way the game has gone to see Dart, not this first series, but the second series, but a full second half for him to really prove that, hey, I took what I learned last week. Let's not forget that was his first time starting in this offense, building the chemistry with his receivers, the timing, all that stuff. Did he go back, learn from those mistakes, and then come out here and correct the football? And I think number one thing is just protect it. That interception last week really bugged his offense.
First down and 10. Dart lets it loose over the middle. Mingo is there. What a grab! One hand catch for number 1. A huge pop. 51 yards.
And you see why he's preseason second team All-SEC. Oh my goodness. Let the big guy go up there and snag it. Great job over Trey Green.
Back on the ground with Zach Evans right up the middle for a short gain inside the 5. Man, Jonathan Mingo is a guy who last year struggled with injuries. This year he looks 100% and then some.
Oh, he's made some big plays. Obviously the first play of the game, catching. He's had 2 highlight reel catches so far in this game. First one over a defender, using his back to secure in the first play of the game, and then that one right there, going up with the big left paw, snagging and getting inside the 10-yard line.
He has crossed the century mark. 3 catches, 103 yards. Second down and goal. Evans, the running back. Dart gives it to him, and Evans is in for the touchdown. Zach Evans, the TCU transfer, might be scoring a lot for the Rebels this year.
And it seems like the beginning of the game right there with the first drive. Big play, get inside the red zone, then finish it off with a touchdown. Evans had the 133 yards last week, and that tandem of backs between him and Judkins this year, just being able to rotate those guys is just so pivotal in this era of football, and these guys to stay healthy and to be able to last in this league.
Jonathan Cruz tacks on the extra point. More of the same for Ole Miss in the second half. Zach Evans caps off a 69-yard drive.
Jackson Dart trying to make up for some mistakes last week. He sees the safety flat foot for just a second. Mingo one-on-one with the corner. And then just like it was a Nerf ball. I mean, I don't even think he saw the ball hit his hand. He just stuck his hand up there and just said, come to me. Snags it, reels it in. I mean, that's 2 highlight catches in one game for him.
Yeah. That's like what I was doing pregame when you were throwing me the ball.
Definitely not what you were doing pregame, but good try. And then Evans getting in there for the touchdown. It's hard not to get excited because you have to remember who they're going against, but this is, we saw the buy-in last year. We saw the success for Ole Miss, and then you see the talented guys that they got from all over the country to transfer in there, and we said that, obviously number 2 class for when it comes to the transfer portal. There is very, very good football players on this team. It's now just a matter of how fast can we get them to learn the playbook, buy into our culture, and then go out there and do what they're doing tonight.
White again takes the knee. UCA starts at the 25. Oh, wow.
Uh-oh, let's see what I got.
You guys were filming this? Oh, no.
Oh!
Oh, God.
Oh,
Yes.
they don't want to throw it back.
You
Come
can take
on.
the check down, dude.
How far did I throw that? That? I'm telling you, I was having some, Luke was pinching a little bit in his shoulder. Mine was pinching a little bit, throwing some of these balls. You see it dying right there?
That's 2 feet in, by the way.
That was
That's 2 feet
impressive.
in. That's an NFL reception. And, yeah, you got to involve Rich Gaynor, our spotter, tonight. Oh, my gosh, at the reverse angle. The ISO on Aaron Murray. Wow. Central Arkansas starts on the ground.
Please don't show that
Short
again.
gain on first down. No, actually, can we fire that back up? I'd like to see more of Aaron Murray. Really in his prime here.
I haven't really thrown a football in about 4 years until last week, the first game.
Pal. Sure.
Let's see.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, the follow through though.
Oh man.
We are athletes here at ESPN, or we at least strive to be athletes.
That is unbelievable camera work from our crew, led by Seth Miller and Johnny Hanna. Great stuff. I want that for my reel. 2nd down and 7. McIlvain sets up the screen, and that's going nowhere. Hasheem Young comes down from his strong safety position to break it up. Miles Kitt Denton, the speedy slot man.
Well, you see that the speed from Young once again. Obviously had the big interception there before halftime to give Ole Miss opportunity to get that 2-minute drive in, and you saw him in the center field spot come all the way over on the seam ball and make a diving catch in the end zone, and then right there coming down like a missile to keep that from being a bigger gain.
UCA 3 for 11 on 3rd down tonight. McIlvain looking over the middle, steps out of the pressure, rolling to his right. That's a dangerous pass. There's Hasheem Young again. Number 1 is really a land shark, man. He's everywhere.
Listen, if you're a quarterback and you're throwing the ball away, throw the ball out of bounds. Don't just heave it to the middle of the field like that. This is, McIlvain, let's not forget, this is his 2nd game starting and going against this defense, and these are all learning moments and very teachable moments, but that is one thing right there that you do not do is throw across your body, especially throwing the ball away. Just get it out of bounds and get the punt team on the field.
Dayton Wade, check that, Jordan Watkins back to receive the punt, and Ole Miss back to work offensively. More Jackson Dart on the other side. Well, you might have noticed the red number 16 on the field here at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. That is in memorial for Luke Knox, who played tight end for Ole Miss for 4 years. He transferred to FIU before this season, and he tragically passed away not long ago. His brother Dawson played for the Bills Thursday night. He flew in this morning. You see him on the far right there along with the Knox family. Parents David and Rachel being honored by Ole Miss Athletic Director Keith Carter at halftime, along with the adopted Knox brothers Nate and Isaiah wearing the Long Live Luke shirts. Tragedy for this Ole Miss program alongside FIU. The Knox family has been a part of Ole Miss for a long time. Great to see them honor the memory of Luke Knox, who left far too soon. Let's go down to Tara.
Spoke with Rachel, who is Luke's mother. I spoke with her after that halftime, and she was almost in tears just talking about how appreciative she is of this Ole Miss community, because even though her son did transfer to FIU, she says that this was his home. Oxford is where he loved to be.
That's Jonathan Mingo on another big pitch and catch. There are 2 flags down near the line of scrimmage. So we'll check the penalty. Mingo's already above 100 yards. That one went for 41 as of now.
And maybe offensive line down the field there, especially those long.
Ineligible player downfield on the offense, number 54. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. We will replay first down.
Yeah, good call, partner. But just to wrap up on Luke Knox, we talked with Lane Kiffin about it. He was here for a couple of years with Luke before he transferred to FIU. He was in for a big season. You see the Knox brothers overlapped for a year. Dawson now really a star with the Bills. And Luke Knox destined for similar stuff. And tragedy strikes this offseason when he passed away. So our thoughts are with the Knox family and everyone they touched. 2nd down and 14 after the penalty. Dart throws left side. That was dangerous, but it's complete. 1st down yardage for Dayton Wade, the transfer from Western Kentucky.
That's it. That was a dart. It was a beautifully thrown football.
I see what you did there.
That is a tough throw to make, and that was impressive to watch.
Keep it on the ground this time with Quinshawn Judkins, the true freshman who's got all the talent in the world. Finally hogtied out of bounds after another 1st down gain by Corley Hooper.
And I think that's the difference with Jackson. He is, I would say, the better thrower of the two. He just needs the issue with him. He just doesn't know the offense as well. He's still learning it.
Another RPO. This time he cuts it loose over the middle. Brought in. Another big pop. And again, it's Dayton Wade down to the 2-yard line. Jackson Dart is slinging it.
And the ball just pops out of his hands. Beautiful spiral. Looks great. Dayton Wade, the fearless receiver, going across the middle of the big post. Looked like some confusion. A couple guys in the same area, but was able to reel it in. And right now, Jackson's making his case to be the starting quarterback going forward. Luke had his opportunity in the first quarter, looked pretty darn good, and now Jackson saying, not so fast, not so fast.
That one went for 39. He throws again. In the flat, touchdown Rebs. Hat trick for Michael Trigg, the transfer from USC. He has scored 3 tuds tonight.
And all very, very similar plays, just coming back from the backside. Fake cutoff, the actual receiver to his side is going to run interference on his man-to-man player. Defense wants to call it a pick. As an offensive guy, I like to say interference. And
you like to say interference?
He's interference. He's running interference.
Rub?
It's rub, interference. Yeah. It's not a pick. And easy throw for the quarterback.
Whether it's Jackson Dart or Luke Altmaier, everyone has been looking for Michael Trigg. Cruz adds the extra point. 45-0 Rebels. Both quarterbacks have looked solid until Altmaier's injury. Dart, 8 for 10, 158, and a score.
Well, it's a Dayton Wade drive right now. Made a couple great catches, and you see somewhat confusion, but still, throw it up there, let the guy go get it, and then Trigg, it's just too easy for the big guy. And I may have seen Dayton Wade throw a flipper out there during that interference.
They are the Land Sharks.
They are the Land Sharks. Yeah, you see the defensive back complaining about it, and that was Wilson right there, but no call, no foul. Another touchdown for the Land Sharks.
Those USC teammates, Jackson Dart and Michael Trigg, who came over together from LA to Oxford. Obviously a lot of chemistry between those two. And Michael Trigg, who is an Under Armour All-American coming out of high school, is showing off that talent here.
I just want to know, and when we talked to the coaches yesterday, they said there's no ill will between these quarterbacks, very professional about how this whole thing has gone on, and the team has approached the situation the same way, but this is a position that is just it's treated differently than others. It just is, because there's only one guy that can play. I think at some point you got to name the starter. I'm hoping it's done tomorrow. I hope they look at this film and announce something to the team either tomorrow night or Monday and just put this behind them and say, hey, this is our guy. It was a great 2 weeks. But so-and-so is going to be the starter, and letting the team rally around him.
I find Lane Kiffin's comments about it really refreshing as Cruz's kick goes out of bounds. So UCA will start with great field position. Very refreshing in the sense that he's not like pulling the wool over our eyes. I think he actually doesn't know yet.
Yeah.
It's not that he just didn't want to tell us. He actually says that his son, Knox, asked him a couple weeks before the season, and Lane was like, listen, I don't know.
Yeah. But I think the schedule helps. I mean, obviously Michigan's going through a similar situation right now. They had one quarterback start last week. They have another quarterback starting in their game versus Hawaii right now. And I think the schedule allows both these teams the benefit of doing it. You treat them almost like preseason games. Both quarterbacks got to play last week. Both quarterbacks got to play this week. One starts, one backs up, and then you make a decision afterwards. I don't anticipate this going till next week.
There's Kylan James, running back for Central Arkansas. Takes a couple of hits on his way to a gain of 5 on first down. You mentioned the schedule, Aaron. They start with Troy, Central Arkansas, at Georgia Tech, home Tulsa before they get Kentucky here in Oxford on the first day of October. So it worked out really well for Ole Miss. This was the year to have a quarterback competition coming into the season.
Yeah, I think Michigan's a similar situation with who they have to play their first 3 or 4 games too. So I don't like it, but I'm a guy that I wanted all the reps. I wanted to make sure that I was ready to go come SEC play.
McIlvain throws. It was tipped and nearly taken away. A.J. Finley had a hand on it after the tip. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5. Were you ever in a QB competition?
I was. The spring heading into my freshman year. I redshirted, and then Zach Menenberger and myself, Zach, who went on to play at LSU, were in a pretty good battle there in spring. Zach left after spring and moved on to a JUCO, and then went to LSU and was a starter there. So it's tough. I mean, because you want to make sure you're ready to go, and every rep you get within an offense is a very much of a learning moment, a teachable moment. And when you have to split that with someone else, it makes doing your job a little bit tougher.
Keep it on the ground on 3rd down and 5 with James one more time. He's not going to get there. Needed the 45. Trey Washington was in there, flying down from his safety position first.
And I think Coach Lane and Coach Weiss have to look at the situation too, and they're going to see who the team reacted to based on the film, based on practice, who the receivers and offense line kind of gravitate towards when it comes to the meetings and getting extra reps before or after practice. I think they take that into consideration as well. But it's going to be a tough decision. Both guys have played well, respected by their teammates, have worked hard. It's been a really good competition, but once again, the sooner you get this thing done, the better for everyone.
4th down, Central Arkansas goes for it. They're not going to get there. Turnover on downs. Kylan James couldn't pick up the necessary yardage. Tywone Malone, who played some baseball for Ole Miss in the spring, was there first.
And you see them getting down into that 4D lineman, anticipating the run, and then Coleman once again showing up. He's been making plays off the edge over and over throughout this ball game. But I love the mixing it up and not just being a 3 down front, but being able to match when a team goes 12 personnel. So 1 back, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, matching big body for big body. Or you get to a 3rd and long situation, you want to get a little bit more pass rush. Let's put 4 of our best pass rushers out there. So this is a lot of new stuff that this defense is going to be bringing because of the skill guys and because of the depth they have.
The D-line coach, Randall Joyner, nicknamed that group the Juice Boys, and they've brought it tonight as Dart's first throw on this drive was a missile, but it was a little too low trying to connect with J.J. Henry. And folks, just to give you an idea of how tight this quarterback competition is, Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr., the offensive coordinator, were both at Alabama in 2015 and 2016. Jacob Coker and Cooper Bateman in 2015, and then Jalen Hurts and Blake Barnett in 2016. Those were both hotly contested QB competitions who we didn't know the starter was going to be until the first game, and sometimes even until the second game. They said that this quarterback competition is even closer than those were.
Yeah, and with Jalen was a freshman, and they knew he was talented, but they weren't sure if he was ready to go, and obviously was able to start that year and make an impact. Both these guys have played limited, but they've seen enough game tape of them to I think have an educated decision this week. And obviously, for Dart, he still's got a quarter and a half to prove that he should be the starter.
He throws it here. It's a long ball up the seam right side. Single coverage again, trying to find Henry, the slot man. He was defended by number 15, C.J. Boscat.
I was excited to see Henry. He's someone that had a tremendous camp, one of the best camps of all the receivers, and not the biggest, but the speed down the field. They're excited to see him and Robinson, who we've talked about extensively this game, those two guys mixing in and out of that slot position, you get them matched up like that, and you take that shot every time.
They're going for it on 4th down and 12. Dart will throw. Had an open man, but he just missed his running back. Ulysses Bentley the fourth, the transfer from SMU. Maybe some miscommunication. That's what happens when you got transfers everywhere, right?
Yeah, he's thinking zone, zone, zone. Sit down, let me get you the ball right now. Then you turn north. Little sloppy drive there for Ole Miss. You can see Lane is not happy about it.
Ole Miss up big on Central Arkansas, week 2 here in Oxford. Drew Carter, Aaron Murray, Tara Talmadge back with you at the Vaught. 5:44 to play in the 3rd quarter. Will McElvain and UCA back to work, throws it off his back foot as McElvain is under duress, as he has been a lot in these first 2 weeks. Go back to week 1 on the stripes at Estes in Conway. Absolutely obliterated.
And he was man enough to admit that he was wrong on that, which is great, but does not help watching
on the offense,
him get destroyed.
That penalty is a loss of down at the spot of the foul. Second down.
And you know what? We want to apologize to the McElvain family for showing that, but really we're showing it for good reason, Aaron, because like you said, he took responsibility. Yep. He said, it's on me. He didn't get the check right. Aaron, do you know anything about this?
Oh, wow. This was...
That's Quentin Dial.
And I took one for all of quarterbacks out there, because they changed the rule the next year that you could not headhunt a quarterback after throwing an interception. So for all you quarterbacks out there, I took one for you. I took one for the team.
Yes,
for the future of heads for quarterbacks.
Yes. And it did not help Will McElvain on that play, though, as he was sacked by Dylan Thomas of Missouri State. There's Darius Hale, who's near 1st down yardage. For more on the hit heard around the world, let's go down to Tara.
You know, I hate to just pile on here, but I did talk with Will about that hit earlier this week, and he just kind of goes, yeah, that was my fault. I definitely knew that guy was coming after me, and I should have checked the protection a little bit better. But it was a learning moment for him, as Aaron, I'm sure you can probably attest to as well. Once that happens once, you try not to let that happen again.
Yeah, my message was don't throw interceptions, and you won't get your head blown off by bigger people.
Now, Aaron, do you remember that hit? Or seeing it back, was that the first time that you actually have that back in your brain?
Oh, I remember. If you stop it, my eyes actually go to him. I see him. It's like one of those like oh mama moments where you're like, I'm about to go night night, and yeah, not fun. And I feel his pain, and you know, once again, good for him for coming out and saying, hey guys, like my bad on the protection. RPO should have moved the guy over. Yeah, you see the eyes. They're like, oh no. Mama, help, please.
Someone, please.
Please.
I'm looking at you, No Context College Football. Please screenshot that.
Oh, I got pictures of it if you want it.
I'm sure Quentin Dial does as well. Here's 4th down and 4 for McElvain and company. Just across the 50-yard line, Darius Hale is the running back. As we approach 4 minutes in the 3rd quarter. McElvain to throw, looked over the middle, keeps it himself. You see the toughness. He's undeterred. Brought down short of the line to gain, though. Again, it was Tywone Malone, big number 90.
It's just the speed. We saw it last week. Sure, we saw it last year. And I know there's a lot of new faces, and not as many new faces on the defense side of the football as we're seeing on the offensive side of the football. But, you know, if you want to have success in this league that is completely transformed himself from you know what the offense is doing to more of a spread RPO stuff, you got to have guys that can run. You got to have guys that can play well in space, and the way their defense is formation, they have those type of players that are perfectly situated to face the offenses that they're going to face at Mississippi State, at Alabama, at LSU.
Yeah, Coach Kiffin said after the game last week against Troy, they did some stuff that would not fly in SEC play. He said the offense in the second half was about as ugly as it could have been. And here, Aaron, you know, they've got 45 points. Dart's numbers look great, but we already saw a miscommunication when they went for it on 4th down. Not on the same page with Ulysses Bentley, the running back. So these drives matter, especially in this quarterback competition. Dart complete, right side on the screen as a flag comes in right near midfield. That's Jordan Watkins, the Louisville transfer. Trey Green brings him down after a short gain. We'll check the penalty.
Holding on the offense, number 75, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
That's Mason Brooks, the transfer first-team CUSA player that came in and was battling for that tackle spot. Was unable to get it.
With all these transfers, Aaron, that's another reason why these drives matter in the second half.
Well, and communication, too. There's so much communication on the offensive side of the football that till you get it in game line rep, it's just hard to simulate in practice.
2nd and 18. That's a dart from Dart over the middle to Henry, who hits the circle button and picks up first down yardage.
He's fun to watch. He really is. I mean, you're talking
He's
about getting him and Robinson on the field. You get Jitterbug and Flash on the same play. It's going to be hard for defenses to slow them down.
3 minutes in the third. Dart back to work on 1st and 10. They keep it on the ground with the freshman Judkins out of Pike Road, Alabama. Led the Patriots to a 5A state title last year. And the early returns on number 4 are super positive. Buy stock now. There's a jet sweep. It's Henry again. You want to get the rock in his mitts. But a short gain on 2nd down brings up 3rd and 6.
I don't think I love when anytime I get an opportunity to cover Coach Kiffin or to watch the film on Coach Kiffin is just all the options that he presents to a defense and the eye candy and the formations and the personnel and moving guys in different positions. It's a lot. It is a lot to handle. It's a lot to learn for the offensive guys. But once they master it, as we've seen, it's tough to stop.
3rd and 6, again on the ground. Judkins can pick this up himself and does. First down, Ole Miss. And Coach Kiffin told us yesterday, I love this quote, "We don't think outside the box. We create a new box."
Oh, 100%.
Four wide for Dart with 2 on each side. Dart will throw. He can cut it loose. Up the seam. Henry almost had it. Trying to go Jonathan Mingo with the one hand, but a flag comes in.
I mean, he checks a lot of the boxes off right now.
Pass
I mean, he's a tough runner.
On the defense, number 26. That penalty will be enforced 15 yards from the previous spot, and it carries an automatic first down.
His ability to layer the football down the field, these go balls, and to give his guys an opportunity to make a play on it. You know, we've seen some deep out throws. We've seen the quick stuff. I think he is a quick enough release where the ball's in the belly, boom, pull it out, rip it right off the linebacker's face. You know, that's the stuff that he's capable of doing. And I feel like I'm like trying to make the decision for Coach Lane Kiffin right now, and I'm not the coach. But you know, I really like the kid. I think he has promise.
This time he gives it to the back. That's Ulysses Bentley, the SMU transfer. Another big chunk on the ground. Move the sticks again.
And nothing against Altmaier. I think Altmaier is if they go with Luke, I think they're being great hands with both of them. I just think for what, if you want to compare it to the best quarterback they've had, which they had last year,
Dart over the middle, touchdown, Malik Heath. 2 weeks in Oxford, 2 touchdowns for Malik Heath, the Mississippi State transfer. And defecting from Starkville to Oxford is working out for him so far.
It is definitely working out. He won an offense that is more, vertical throws down the field, and obviously we know Mississippi State's a little bit more dink and dunk and spread you out. But this is what Dart does well. You see the patience, boom, pull it out, ball's ready to go, and then throw it high for your receiver coming across the middle on the seam route. And that's the bread and butter of this offense. That play right there is what you have to master doing, and I've seen enough from him these 2 weeks to know he can do that.
It's Christian Shainfeld on for the extra point, knocks it through. That last touchdown, Aaron, dare I say, Corral-esque.
Yes, and that's the goal. Can you run this offense as well as Matt did? And we talk about being able to layer the ball down the field. Check, he can do that. Giving his guys, tight spirals, easy catches. his ability to get in and outside the pocket, make off-balance throws, change his arm angles. And let's not forget, this is only his second game in this offense. And talking to Coach Weiss about it, it's hey man, we're in the beginning stages. We're in game plan 1 through 4. We install 1 through 4. We got to get, if we want to win and be competitive in the SEC West, we got to get deeper into the playbook. And obviously, the more reps Dart gets with these guys, the faster that progression happens. And Luke started off hot. That arm started to bother him.
Yeah, these are a little misleading.
Yeah,
he was 6 for 7 to start.
Yeah. But great job by Dart coming in there when he did. That 2-minute drive was great before half, and then has just been extremely dominant here in the third quarter.
And Aaron, I think what you were saying is totally fair about how, that's really the pulse of the Ole Miss fan base is Jackson Dart probably gives you a higher ceiling than Luke Altmyer does. I mean, Dart's the guy who was the Gatorade Player of the Year in high school, guy at USC who started as a freshman. He's got all the talent in the world, a little bigger, a little more mobile. Altmyer's the guy who's been here, understands the system. I think you're right, partner. They've got 2 good options at quarterback, and we'll see what Coach Kiffin and his staff decide to do. That was Deuce Wise, 22, who brought it out to the 25 for Central Arkansas. And another thing Coach Kiffin said is they'd like to have this decided preseason. They'd like to have it decided yesterday. So I think we might not be too far away from a decision. Now, full transparency, that's not anything he told us. Just the only thing we know is that he wants to have it figured out sooner rather than later. Their first Power 5 game is next week on the road in Atlanta against Georgia Tech. So they'd like to have this decided.
Well, I don't think you can go into a situation on the road like that. That's a big opportunity for someone to go on the road and work out what it's like to play with the communication. Yeah, I would say at this point you've seen each kid start, each kid back up. You've seen them in fall camp. Like, no more votes. This is Lane Kiffin's team.
Yeah.
And Coach Weiss told us this too. Like, hey man, he's the one going to make the final decision. If he says this, then this 8-7 vote doesn't really matter. So, I think at the end of the day, he's going to, probably sit down with his staff tomorrow morning. I'm sure they're going to have a meeting in the morning. They'll go over the film. They'll have one more discussion on it, and then it's go time. And then I anticipate both those quarterbacks being in an office tomorrow afternoon, and someone being told, hey, you're the starting quarterback.
Timeout.
What do we have here? Because
Central Arkansas.
They called timeout. The ref was standing over the ball until there were 3 seconds left on the play clock.
Timeout.
So Central Arkansas has to burn a timeout. Their first one here in the second half. And the coach, Nathan Brown, the most prolific passer in UCA history, will talk things over with his offense.
And listen, for those watching that are Central Arkansas fans, this is a team that I know it's been a rocky start. Offense last week was not very good until the third and fourth quarter, and now you go on the road against a good football team at Ole Miss, and things obviously aren't going your way, but there's talent on both sides of the football for this Bears team, and they're still working through. Same thing as Ole Miss, a lot of transfers, a lot of new faces, and in big time positions like the quarterback, and it's not magic. You just can't turn it on and say press play, and all of a sudden the offense is scoring 30-40 points. It reps, and learning and teachable moments. And right now they've had 2 really good games for that. And I'm hoping with the talent they have, they've taken these 2 weeks and hopefully get things going next week.
Will McIlvain, the UNI transfer, back out there in a 52-0 hole. Keeps it, throws it, complete to the running back Kylan James. Ushered out of bounds on second down, near first down yardage. It'll bring up third down and short. It's a really proud UCA program. They've had a lot of good guys come through here. Think about Mike Norvell, the head coach at Florida State. They're off to a great start. He played wide receiver at UCA. Had a couple NFL wide receivers. Tyler Hudson, who's playing at Louisville now, will be an NFL wide receiver. Lawan Winningham went to the NFL draft. Signed on with the Jags for a little bit. So they got a lot of guys to replace, and UCA trails 52-0. 15 minutes left. The Rebs up big. Fourth quarter in Oxford, 52 Nada, Ole Miss, and what a day in the SEC. Just wacky. How about that game in Austin, Aaron?
College football today is bizarro. That game in Austin was tremendous.
This was a great
Vols
game.
win in overtime. A&M, my
on, y'all.
goodness, switch the quarterback up, please. App State, I just saw some video. They are getting after it there in Boone.
I saw a fantastic tweet. I think it was Roger Sherman of The Ringer who said, if your football stadium holds more than 100,000 people, just don't invite App State to play. Because think back to the Big House, maybe the biggest upset in college football history when they beat Michigan, and then they do the same thing today against A&M. This was bananas. I think everyone in the country was watching this game. Alabama has a kicker now, so look out.
Thank goodness. Man, we were watching a game. We were at dinner last night, and they had the Ole Miss game from Alabama and 14.
Yep.
And we saw some missed field goals in that game from Alabama. So, good for Saban to finally show some love to the specialists. They need it. And they're not invincible, man. They're not. This is going to be a wide-open season, especially in the West.
That ball is on the turf. McElvain picks it up, tries to shovel it, and does, and that's a first down for UCA. Austin Eldridge, the tight end, picks it up. That was spectacular.
I'm trying to figure out, just making sure that was legal in my head as the whole thing went down. There's a lot to unfold here. Yeah, I mean, ball never crossed, pick it up.
Oh, man.
He gets it off before he goes down.
That was awesome.
I mean,
the ruling on the field is that the number 2 fumbled the ball and
he's an
recovered
athlete. Give him that.
Threw a pass.
That play right there in his first punt, two of the best plays we've seen from this team tonight.
Injured player for UCA is Josh George, the starting left guard. Our statistician Paul Evans points out that was nearly a butt fumble, but it turned into a great positive play for UCA. Just to wrap up the weekend, Aaron, you think Alabama should stay at number 1? Is there anyone who could maybe take that spot?
Yeah, them dogs should be number 1 after today's shenanigans. You look at Ohio State. I know I say had a good win today, but we didn't even put on there Notre Dame lost to Marshall.
My gosh.
I mean,
Marcus
at home.
Freeman 0-3.
Yeah, it's and I think Coach Freeman's going to be a great coach. I covered him a couple times at Cincinnati. I think he'll be just fine. You look at the records of the previous coaches at Notre Dame, and none of them seem to be very good. So I guess it's just the rite of passage that you must lose 2 or 3 games to start your career off at Notre Dame. But I think they'll right the ship. Their defense is good. Offense obviously needs a lot of work to get things going.
Darius Hale, the running back for Central Arkansas, who gets the call, sets up 3rd down and short.
I just don't know who's good this year. I don't. I think. Or good. There's a lot of good teams. There isn't a team right now that I could say that team's going to win a natty besides Georgia, and maybe that's because I am a little bit biased.
You're going to start barking.
Yeah, I will admit that a little bit, but I'm just saying, like, you watch the tape, they're the only team that's had that big, impressive win last week versus Oregon, and once again, we have to see how good Oregon is too before we really say how good that win was in week 1.
Well, I think there's no doubt that Georgia will be 1 next week. I also think Texas might be good, man. Like that could turn out to be a really tough game on the road with game day there and everyone watching that game. Like I know they were a 20-point favorite, but that's a tough spot. Yeah,
and I'm interested to see how Texas uses this game, because this was their season, and even Sark said at the beginning of the week, like, hey, I don't want this to define our season, but this was a big deal, and to lose your quarterback, and who knows how long. Quinn Ewers is going to be out with his injury. Your backup quarterback was hobbling for the majority of the game, Hudson Carr as well. So, do they lose some juice, or do they say, hey, man, we lost by 1 point to Alabama and had our opportunities and use that to fuel themselves for the rest of the season, and we'll see. But I do like Sark as a coach.
McElvain lets it fly down the sideline, trying to connect with Gerard Barnes, and that's a good catch. Barnes brings the Bears inside the 10 on Markevius Brown.
And we talked about earlier, balls being thrown on the go balls out of bounds, and just give these guys an opportunity to make a play, and he did it right there.
What a night for Gerard Barnes, his 5th catch.
Well, good things happen when you don't throw the ball out of bounds. I mean, it sounds so simple, but I mean, just there's a reason your guy plays receiver. There's a reason why that guy plays DB. Like, give them an opportunity to go up there and make a play. And third time's the charm. First 2 times, balls landed out of bounds. That third one, he puts it up there, and a good thing happened.
That was your MO with AJ Green, right?
Yeah, just let him go eat.
2nd and goal. McIlvain keeps, rolls right, throws, touchdown Bears. Austin Eldridge inside the pylon. I thought he was in, but there's a flag on the field. This would be cruel.
It would be fitting for him to catch the touchdown after that miraculous play to extend the drive on 4th down with the almost butt fumble to turn to first down pitch.
Pass interference on the offense, number 1. A 15-yard penalty will be imposed.
They got the pick. It was not
Nathan Brown.
He's like, Ole Miss did it. They didn't get called. We're going to call us on it. We need this. I mean, we'll let the people watching. Is it a pick? Is it interference?
Semantics here. What do you think?
Let's find out. We'll see.
It's Gerard Barnes 1.
Oh, no. He was trying to run a route, and the DB is in his way. I can see what the ref is seeing. He's seeing him. They're engaging with each other, so it looks like he's blocking, and you can't do that before the ball's thrown. And I don't think he was trying to do that. I think he was trying to find a way to get around the DB, and that sucks.
Nathan Brown, I'm with you, brother. That is weak sauce. McIlvain now rolling, completes again to a tight end. That is Riyad Ananda, 83. So he's got some stuff going here, Will McIlvain, as UCA tries to get on the board and get that touchdown back that was just white due to the penalty. Not a ton of fans still here in the VOD, but they're going to try to crank up the noise here on 3rd and goal.
I mean, these are good stat games, They've had 6 straight games. They've only a team that 21 points or under. About to get 7 in this one.
McIlvain to throw on 3rd and goal toward the end zone, incomplete. Trying to find Gerard Barnes, and Markevius Brown was all over him again.
That's a good makeup play. Great job, hip to hip with the receiver, and then gets his head around to make a play in the football.
Fourth and goal, got to break up that goose egg, right?
Got to get the goose egg off the board. I ain't mad about it.
Hayden Ray is the place kicker, the 6th-year senior, out for a 31-yard try to end the shutout here in Oxford. Ray's kick is twisting, and it's good. And Central Arkansas is on the board. Ole Miss still leads by 7 touchdowns with under 10 to play. The Walk of Champions might as well be rebranded the Walk of Juice Kiffin. The real star of the show, you put the juice cam on his back and you get gold content like this. The official dog of Ole Miss football, he is so cute. For my money, the cutest non-corgi on planet Earth.
You're a corgi guy.
Big corgi guy. But let's talk about Juice Kiffin here. He got 25,000 Twitter followers, more than any player on the team. So in the world of NIL, where Twitter followers and all social media followers really matter, Juice Kiffin is number 1. And they are selling merch.
And it's going for to a good cause when it does come up. And this video is just so
cute.
This is why you get a dog right here. This is the love you get. Just BFFs.
That is a good one.
But not always the best dog, though. We're going to get into some strengths and weaknesses. We're going to break him down. Let the people know what the scouting report is. Strengths.
Obviously, he's got juice. It's in the name. He's friendly. Weaknesses, that's where Coach Kiffin actually went first. We said strength and weaknesses. He said weakness, listening.
Yep. Well, he's got too many voices in his head.
Yeah.
You know, this person telling this person. This.
And discipline, you know, he's got people giving him treats all over the facility as Jackson Dart lets it rip over the middle.
We'll see some weakness first. Like when I got my puppies, I made a PowerPoint. Look at this little monster.
10-yard penalty from the previous spot.
That was this morning?
Oh, Juice. He's riled up for the game day.
He's just fired up.
But I gave a PowerPoint to my family. Like, if you're going to take care of my dog, this is the commands. This is how you deal with her. And I don't need any confusion because then you get stuff like that happening.
Right.
Yeah.
So, your dog or Juice Kiffin, who do you think is better behaved?
Oh, my dog's a saint. She's a saint.
Let's go down to Tara.
Well, I got to jump in on the Juice talk, of course. There's definitely a theme going on here in Oxford. They have the Juice Boys, which is the D-line. They've got Juice Fest, which is a recruiting event that happens during the summer. And then, of course, you've got Juice Kiffin, the official ambassador of this football team. Unfortunately, he's not out here anymore, though. He went inside. I was told that it has been a very long day for Juice Kiffin. He actually had a lot of red lipstick all over him from going through the Grove, so they had to get some of that off.
Look out, Juice. Hubba hubba.
Juicy boy.
Good stuff from Tara. We're under 10 minutes to play in this fourth quarter, and there's a new quarterback for Ole Miss. It's the third guy through the rotation, Kincaid Dent, the junior out of Mississippi. He throws to the slot, completes. He's got J.J. Henry, the jitterbug out of the slot.
Well, I guess they've seen enough from Dart. I mean, he came in there and looked impressive. You know, from that 2-minute drive throughout the third quarter, really effective, and they've seen all they need to see. So, I would not be surprised if they know tomorrow, and maybe there's some sort of announcement, and maybe they play the cards close to their chest heading into that first away game next weekend. But I think as a team, they should probably know by tomorrow or Monday at the latest.
Dent throws right, incomplete. You know what they should do, Aaron, for their announcement of who their starting quarterback is? 2 treats. Juice Kiffin walks up to one of the treats, and that's how they choose the starting QB.
Yeah, is he the tiebreaker? How much say does he have? And it's like what was it last week? They were at the zoo, and the Walrus was picking teams to win certain games, and I mean it was.
We've seen octopi do that.
My Walrus friend did not watch film of the offseason. Some of the picks were very questionable. So.
You know who's really good at picking games is Reese Rutledge. Laura Rutledge's daughter. Those are the cutest videos ever. Punt return, Gerard Barnes scoops it up after muffing it initially. There's a flag on the field, and he is brought down at the 50-yard line. Fraser Mazin, the punter, got to him first to stop his progress, but we've got not 1, not 2, but 3 penalty markers back between the 15 and 20-yard line. So Lee Hedrick, sort this out, please.
During the return, illegal block in the back on the receiving team number 3. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
All right, we're midway through the fourth quarter. Maybe we'll talk about Juice Kiffin more on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
Correction, the penalty is half the distance from the spot of the foul.
Well, it was always the destiny of the college football playoff to expand, and officially it's going to 12. In 2026, at the latest, it could even be a little bit earlier depending on some logistics. Here is what a 12-team playoff would look like if it started today. Georgia, after losing the conference championship to Alabama, is the 5 seed. So the Crimson Tide get the number 1 seed, and they await the winner of Notre Dame and Baylor. And by the way, I think the Fighting Irish it could be a 100-team playoff, and they wouldn't be in right now.
Yeah, Notre Dame is definitely not in there. Baylor has a big game tonight, but that's fun. Like, to see all those brains playing each other is going to be a good time, and a little concerned about like what happens with the bowl games. So obviously we know the bowl games took a little bit of a hit when the playoffs first started. Now if you expand them, what happens? So there's still a lot of things that need to be worked out, and the logistics, but I think overall health of the game, if you want to make this a something that is college football is successful, not just in the Southeast, and I know we're so focused on that and especially covered on this channel, but in the West, and having teams like USC and Oregon having legitimate chances, and in that region, I think it's healthier for that to know kids don't have to necessarily come across the country to be on a playoff team.
New quarterback for Central Arkansas is Clifton McDowell, the transfer from Louisiana Lafayette. Hands it off to Tristan Smith, who's blown up in the backfield. Going nowhere. Jamon Gordon in there first for Ole Miss, the 6'2", 290 junior out of Meridian. I'm Drew Carter. That's the former Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray. Tara Talmadge on the sideline. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Second half of the fourth quarter. Approaching 7 minutes to play. It's been all Ole Miss against an FCS foe. For Lane Kiffin, though, this has been about getting some answers at the quarterback position, trying to replace Matt Corral, who was a superstar for them last year, leading them to their first 10-win regular season in program history. Still don't have an answer as to who's QB1 here in Oxford. McDowell throws, might have been past the line of scrimmage, but it's broken up and incomplete. Now, flag is in there. I think it's going to be an illegal pass, right?
Well, I don't know. I think it's going to be illegal offensive lineman downfield. I think the entire offensive line was about 10 yards down the field when he threw the pass. So you pick your poison, either one, but I think they're going to get the big uglies down the field a little bit too far.
Ineligible player downfield on the offense, number 64. That penalty is declined, 4th down.
Brings up 4th down and 10 after Coach Kiffin declines the penalty, and UCA will bring out the punt unit. And Aaron, just to wrap up the playoff conversation, I'm with you, man. I mean, I think, number one, the Bulls have already kind of been ignored. You know, I feel like that was even happening before the playoff. So that's number one. And number two, there's such a stratification happening in college football right now, really with the top 3 and maybe 4 if you want to include Clemson, and then everybody else. Maybe having 12 teams with a chance at the championship sort of levels the playing field as kids say, hey, you know, if I go to an Oregon or a USC, like you mentioned, or an Ole Miss, I get a chance potentially to play in the college football playoff. Rebels back to work offensively, under 6.5 to play in Oxford. Sorry, Big Dog Saint. Sorry about your dog freaking out, but we had to show Juice. I mean, come on. It's a given. We would have showed Juice if it were a tie game with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Juice needs his time on camera. The man was meant for TV. So, you know, just if you're watching Ole Miss games, you got to put the dogs in the other room.
Under 6.5 to play. Kincaid Dent is the quarterback. Ulysses Bentley, the 4th, is the running back, who goes out of bounds after a strong gain on 1st down, moving the sticks for the Rebels. We've seen now 3 quarterbacks cycle through for Ole Miss. The fact that Kincaid Dent is even out there, I think probably says a lot about Jackson Dart, who came in late in the first half after Luke Altmaier got the nod. Dart started the opener, Altmaier tonight. Dart only played 3rd quarter and then a little bit extra on either side, but now it's Dent in there as a flag flies with Bentley around the left side. Short gain on 1st down. We'll check the penalty.
Holding on the offense, number 13. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 1st down.
That's a man who needs some juice love right there.
His emotion on the sideline, it's just nothing is better than when Lane is feeling Lane. Like with the big plays and the celebrating, and then obviously the face of disappointment. It's like your mom when you tick off mom and she doesn't have to say anything. She just gives that look. It is now going to be dubbed the Lane look.
You either get the clipboard flying or Lane looking exasperated. Back to the ground with Bentley, sheds 1 tackle, another stiff arm from the former Pony, out of bounds with another penalty marker out there. Zach Evans gives
holding on the offense, number 13. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, 1st down.
The Lane train hoping that these penalties get cleaned up and the turnovers as well. We saw an interception in the first half from Altmaier after his shoulder was banged up, but they got a big jump in competition next week, going from an FCS opponent at home to at Georgia Tech on the flats.
Big opponent. Big.
Are you hating on Georgia
No,
Tech right now,
I
Aaron?
would never hate on them.
Listen, I know you're a Bulldog, but
Never would I
they
ever
looked
do.
okay against Clemson, right? Okay? Is that fair?
I mean, yeah, I mean, the first half, they looked decent on Monday night versus Clemson, and, Clemson has their own problems on the offense that they look better today. The Tigers and DJU looked a little bit better, but, this...
All right, Coach Kiffin is beside himself at the bottom of your screen. He can't believe another flag is in there. That was Isaiah Woolard on the run. And we'll check the flag.
Holding on the offense, number 75, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. We play first down.
I mean, Lane may just punt the ball here soon. This keeps it up just to stop with the penalties. We're getting the first and 40-ish now. And, it's, some of these backups, you get limited playing time. I mean, you can't be ticking off the old ball coach by
the old ball coach.
Yeah.
By the way, you might be wondering why you're seeing this look, the wide shot on your screen right now. There's lightning in the area, we're being told. So our camera operators have taken cover, and you'll see this camera shot, at least for now, as we're under 5 minutes in the fourth quarter. Again, it's Woolard on the run. It was 1st and 32 after a few holding penalties against the Rebels. But in all seriousness, Aaron, I mean, we really don't know with Ole Miss. Like against Troy, they didn't look that good.
No.
They only scored one touchdown in the second half, one offensive touchdown. They turned it over 3 times.
But that was a Troy team. If for those who know, I mean, a veteran Troy team that returned a lot of starters on both sides of the football, and first game of the season, a lot of transfer guys. Things weren't perfect as they probably shouldn't have been perfect, and it's good to see the level of increased play from week 1 to week 2. That's when you really see the biggest jump for these guys.
3rd and 26. Kincaid Dent loads it up and fires over the middle. Incomplete. Tried to connect with Braylon Brown. The 6'2 wide receiver brings up 4th and 26. What do you think here? Decision time for Coach Kiffin.
Punt the ball.
Let's
go.
Where's Freddie Mitchell when you need him? Donovan McNabb, connection for the Eagles. 4th and 26.
Speaking of around the country, your Cuse look good today.
Woo! Look
We
out.
go 7 wins this year is what you're going for?
Hey, way more than that. Way over.
Yeah.
At least double figures. That's a line drive punt, and it's on the turf. Another special teams takeaway for Ole Miss, and this time they're set up inside the 10. It was Gerard Barnes on the return who lost the football, and Ole Miss can pile on some more with 3:30 to play.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the kicking
Listen,
team.
if
First
you want to
down.
get through the first 2 games of the season, especially a game like this, and feel good about yourself, defense played well, offense played well, special teams, 3 turnovers. Obviously a lot of inflicted wounds on themselves there for Central Arkansas, but still you're making plays, Ole Miss, and it's as we've seen through the first 2 weeks of the season for lots of teams across the country, special teams has been an issue. So to know that your team is not one of them, it's a good feeling right now for the Rebels.
If you missed the first half, they scored on a botched snap on a punt by Central Arkansas. Ladarius Tennyson brought it home, and they also blocked a punt to set up shop inside the 5. 2 more penalty flags against Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin is
False start
probably
on the offense, number 56. That's a 5-yard penalty.
going to need a
Makes first
beverage
down.
after this fourth quarter.
You think the mentality of everyone on the field right now is like, just don't screw up, just don't screw up, just please don't screw up. You just got to relax, play ball, do your thing.
Kincaid Dent is the quarterback. Ulysses Bentley is the running back who gets the call on 1st down and 10. And the SMU transfer gallops into the end zone. Touchdown, Rebs. 2 weeks in Oxford, 2 scores for Bentley.
Running back, you baby. after Georgia, obviously, but man, they are well equipped with these 3 guys to have a big season.
Ole Miss in the red zone, 8 trips, 7 touchdowns. That's Schoenfeld on for the extra point. 3:23 in regulation, 59-3 reps. Ole Miss keeps pouring it on against Central Arkansas. 59-3 is the current score, with under 3.5 to play in the fourth quarter. Drew Carter, Aaron Murray, Tara Talmadge with you from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Thanks for hanging out with us as the Rebels have been in control from the jump. It was 28-0 after the first quarter. Ole Miss trying to work the kinks out of their offense. No pun intended, as Kincaid Dent, their third-string quarterback, is at the controls now. But the QB competition has been hot. All spring, all summer, the transfer Jackson Dart from USC duking it out with Luke Altmaier, who's been in this program, grew up an Ole Miss fan. Altmaier started tonight after Dart started the opener against Troy last week. And you check out their remaining schedule. They want to have this thing figured out probably by tomorrow, because next week they go to Georgia Tech in their first Power 5 game and first road game of the year.
Kentucky looking pretty good right now on the road against Florida, looking like they're going to win that big game. Auburn's battling right now versus San Jose State, which is a good football team, but the West is just it's kind of all over the place. Not going to lie right now.
Would you say it's a Wild West?
It is a wild West. Alabama showed some weaknesses. A&M has got a lot of issues on the offensive side of the football, and Ole Miss is looking good. I'll tell you that. If you're an Ole Miss fan and you're looking at the way that West is shaping up, right now Mississippi State has a chance to be good. Arkansas is a good football team, but everyone else seems to be showing some pretty big weaknesses.
3 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. In case you're just joining us, we've had lightning in the area, so our camera operators have taken cover. We're seeing what we're seeing up here in the booth at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Clifton McDowell running the show for Central Arkansas here. That's a completed pass to John David White, the Arkansas transfer, and a nice catch at that on first down. I mean, realistically, though, Aaron, where does Ole Miss stack up, in your opinion, now 2 weeks in? Because I feel like a lot of people thought maybe 5th, 6th, because without Corral and so much turnover. But at this point, now that everyone else kind of looks vulnerable, what do you think?
You still want to see what Ole Miss looks like against some really good competition. I think that's the big question is they look good these first 2 weeks, but who have they played? And you see the potential. You see the guys. I think we've feel pretty good about who's going to be the quarterback going forward, but until they start getting the SEC play, it's kind of hard to project. But I think they're a top 4 team in the West.
Nice.
I could say that right now. I think Auburn right now is struggling mightily. They didn't. I had them last week, and then based on what we've seen so far tonight from them, A&M has a ton of issues. So yeah, you feel very confident they're up there. And I think the game versus Mississippi State is going to be challenging. And obviously, Arkansas looks really good right now as well.
That pass is incomplete from McDowell on first down. Keep in mind, Ole Miss gets Alabama at home Saturday, November 12th. And as we saw today, and as we've seen a couple times over the last year, Nick Saban against a former assistant is no longer a done deal. He lost a couple times last year to Jimbo and Kirby, and then Sark almost beat him today. So could Lane Kiffin be next? $1:29 left in this fourth quarter. Kylan James on the ground. Strong run for a first down. Ole Miss will improve to 2-0 before they hit the road for Georgia Tech next week on the flats, as James with another solid carry on first down. Central Arkansas falls to 0-2. They've got at Idaho State, at Southeast Missouri State before they're back home on the Stripes in Conway October 1st for Austin Peay in an ASUN game.
Timeout, Ole Miss. It's the
Timeout,
first charge
Ole
timeout
Miss
of
with
the half.
45 seconds
It'll be a
left.
30-second
up
timeout.
56. What's happening in Florida, Kentucky, partner?
Kentucky, man, it's surprising. Florida last week was they looked so good with Anthony Richardson, and you kind of look at the stat line tonight, and just wasn't on his game. Nothing against him. I think he's still going to be a very talented quarterback in this league, and Kentucky is just continues to be doubted. We heard the talks, the whole somewhat controversy with the coaches and Calipari saying this is still a basketball school and everything that went down with that, and teams still view Kentucky as they do. They view them as a basketball school, and what Stoops has done there and how he's built the program for success long term is something to be admired by I think a lot of coaches across the country. And for them to go on the road into the swamp and seem right now to possibly hold on to victory there is a hell of a feat.
Yeah, they're up by 7 with under 2 minutes to play. McDowell scrambles, throws across his body. That's intercepted. That's the icing on the cake. Deshaun Jerkins picks it off. Ole Miss with another takeaway.
The ruling on the field is an interception. First down.
The Vanderbilt transfer has the INT.
Just nothing open down the field, trying to force the ball, going across your body a little bit. Ball's going to sail. Right place, right time, great way, and then just the perfect ending for this football game. I mean, they've played such a, not perfect. We've seen some penalties here in the fourth quarter with some of the backups, but overall, Lane Kiffin has to be pretty pleased with his team coming out there extremely focused, executing all three phases of the game, and getting out of here somewhat healthy. Obviously, we got to see what Luke Altmyer looks like, but right now this was a almost picture perfect game for the Rebels.
Keep it on the ground here, and this will do it, salting it away. Ole Miss is 2-0 in 2022. They take care of business again. They will go on the road to take on Georgia Tech in Atlanta next Saturday. Central Arkansas falls to 0-2. They're on the road at Idaho State next week. 59-3 your final from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. For our entire crew, led by Seth Miller and Johnny Hanna, Aaron Murray, Tara Talmadge, I'm Drew Carter signing off from Oxford, where the final score was 59-3. All games airing on the SEC and ESPN networks, streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Enjoy your Sunday.